Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados live here on Thinking Critical YouTube. We are a man short. Aaron Sparrow is probably sleeping in, and I don't blame him. It was 4th of July yesterday. I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. So celebrating Independence Day, at least if you're American or whatever. And we have a man returning to the channel, Yule Carter. I haven't seen you in have I even seen you this year?
It's been a few months. This is the first time.
Man,
first time with you.
Brother.
I missed you too. I had a lot of stuff I've been doing. I kind of took a break from social media and, store stuff basically. And I knew you were going on vacation. So I figured, this would be a really good time to start now that you're back. Me be back too.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. We're definitely going to have some retailer stuff to get into today.
Mm-hmm.
So how's the store doing? Is it, are you getting the enormous numbers that some of these other people are reporting?
I'm doing well in comic book sales. I'm mostly a comic book store. I don't really sell a lot of shirts or hats or magic cards, toys, that kind of stuff. Very small location, and I only really have room for comic books. So I sell comic books, and I wouldn't be doing it if I couldn't sell any comics.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. We just had Joe Casey in the store last week, or a week ago now. And AL, I'll be expecting an email soon. There you go.
Joe Casey's a great guy. I had him on the channel a few months ago. He's
I saw it.
Really, really disappointing about Weapon X-Men, but it wasn't because of a lack of quality. It was a good book.
Dude, that last issue, I don't know. Doc, did you read that last issue?
I did.
Holy shit, that book was the 4th and 5th issue of that. Yeah. It was like, let's keep going. Let's do it. This is good. I'm on. And then it's over.
And it feels like they were trying, like Joe was almost trying to force them to continue the book. He definitely did not write it as if it was ending at 5 issues. And I fucking love that because now there's absolutely something to continue off of. They're not trying to reset everything. I love those. I loved all 5 issues, but the issue 4 and 5 were just perfect.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I thought Chris Cross was great too. Love seeing him come back.
Love his work. Highly recommend. And Peter David died over the time I was gone. Go get his Captain Marvel omnibus. That one's excellent. Chris Cross does the art in that, and funny stuff. Really good characterization. Makes fun of Youngblood and all sorts of stuff like that.
And speaking of deaths, we just had Jim Shooter, longtime Marvel EIC, super duper influential to comic books. He just passed away. Did you ever get to meet Jim Yule?
No, I was never really going to a whole lot of conventions when he might have been going. But on my show this last Tuesday, I had Joe Corallo and Eric Breen on, and we talked about Jim Shooter, and it was a damn good show. I would recommend check it. We talked about Shooter stuff that other people don't talk about.
Definitely. Once you're done with that, we also have another video on the channel from several years ago, just talking about Shooter's career with Eric Breen and Joe Corallo as well.
Wow, look at that. A little synergy.
So, absolutely. So, yeah, it's just really, really sad stuff just to see him go. So influential. And just to think about what Marvel accomplished when he was EIC, starting at only 26 years old.
Dude, it's crazy stuff. Crazy. I mean, there was bad to go along with a lot of good. And when the bad was bad, it was really bad. But the good, holy cow. I was reading all my books to get prepped for the show. And Secret Wars, like on the 8th issue, I think it sold 700,000 copies. Damn. Hey, that's crazy.
You'll just think about it this way. Marvel does not have one single title being published at the moment that would have survived cancellation under Jim Shooter.
Right. Although I'll say this, nobody wrote down that he said that you had to sell 100,000 copies.
No, because he never wrote it down. He just axed it. That was his line right in his head.
But he also, like in these books, famously stuck with Daredevil when it was doing shit numbers because he really liked Frank Miller. And he's like, this is going to be a thing. And he stuck it out, Marvel. He stuck it out. It became a monthly book, and then it became a very, very good selling book. And Daredevil, it still has the rep that people think about Daredevil now. It still comes because of Frank Miller. Just crazy.
No,
I'm done.
I think his Daredevil stuff is better than his Batman stuff. And everyone talks about, Dark Knight Returns or Batman Year One. I think Born Again's better. I think, Man Without Fear is just as good as those books.
I would agree. A little bit more superhero-y. Well, no, but the problem, I was going to be done. The problem with, and we're going to get into it, with Dark Knight Returns is also the problem with the absolute and ultimate lines at Marvel and DC. They are the best-selling books in the company line, but they're also the not canon thing and doesn't touch any of the other books that you do. So how successful really is this is the question. I mean, it's good for now. Is it going to help tomorrow? That's the question.
Yeah. So definitely very sad to see the passing of Jim Shooter. Definitely go to Yule's channel and watch his conversation with Eric Breed and Joe Corallo. Anything else you've got going on, Yule? Maybe some other interviews or stuff that people need to know about?
No, I have not. Joe and Eric and I have joked about how we always get together for people dying. We're going to get together for somebody that's alive. I'm not going to say the name. Don't want to jinx it.
Hey, I'm right here. You can say my name. You're obviously getting together to.
We're doing the thing.
We talk your name all the time.
Say my name. Say my name. Don't call me baby. Say my name. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do a Grant Morrison special or something. That'd be fun.
That would be good. I could do that. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That would be an off-kilter show because of the highs and lows.
Doc and I'm saving Doc for a Chris Claremont show. Let's be real about that. It's all X-Men all the time when Doc's on the show.
Hey, look, I will jinx it. We're gonna do the Cody Ziegler retrospective. Oh well, I mean, I guess if he goes, he goes.
Oh goodness, Doc. So you'll obviously you have the Fantastic Comics YouTube channel. You also have Fantastic Comics comic book shop in Berkeley, California. A lot of times you could get your hands on comic books that have sold out other parts of the country. Can people just contact you directly, like Lane has done in the past?
Yeah, Lane, AL. I'm gonna get her hooked up on some Spider-Girl books.
Ooh.
And if it's available, I can get it. And if I have an in, I can get it probably. But don't ask for
just email you. I know you're not doing the social medias anymore.
Yeah, we're on Instagram. Fantastic Comics is on Instagram, YouTube. You can contact me at one of those places. I always have a scroll on the bottom of the show telling you where to contact me. But anybody here, do events at Fantastic Comics because I never have events anymore.
Very nice.
You
That's your id.
Yeah.
So welcome back to the show. We've also got Dylan, the real comic book gamer. You and I and Sully sat down. We did Hot or Not yesterday, talking about all the new comic books of the week. That was the most comic books like in a week you've read in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a bit. I read 15 comics this week, and it was a terrible week to do so. But it was fun to talk about with you guys.
It was not the week to go all in on Marvel and DC and just try to read as much as you could.
No, DC had like 8 books out, and like only 4 of them were real books. Some of them were like tie-ins or like kids' books or whatever. And then Marvel just had a bunch of slop. It was rough.
Not the most fun thing in the world. Did you have any big videos recently that people will like?
I just did a video on new Captain America #1 from Chip Zdarsky and Sheety. So yeah, I just did that. So talked all about that. So definitely people should go check that out. About Captain America.
That book had a hot open, dude.
Great opening, and then after that, it never reaches those highs again. But not a bad comic, just not really a good comic either. It's just meh. It's kind of mid.
Yule, what was the response to Captain America #1 when Chip Zdarsky? Was there renewed interest? Did it feel like people were maybe going to go check it out?
I think they like the Alex Ross cover. They haven't. Well, I don't get a lot of response yet, but I have had a couple people tell me that they thought it was pretty cool. I have a problem with a story going so far in the past, or we're getting this rebirth of a Captain America kind of story. The opening, hot, really good, exactly like you want a Captain America story, but questionable where they're going. It feels like the first couple of issues of the Absolute books that were coming out, or maybe the Ultimate books. We're just kind of trying to get our bearings again. Hopefully, after this initial arc, will be a regular Captain America story, or maybe what we're learning here will lead into something later on.
Definitely getting John Walker vibes, like they're gonna do U.S. Agent again.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. I mean, talking about Jim Shooter,
I flipped through the first issue there, and it felt like Chip Zdarsky was just trying to copy story beats and concept from Brubaker, but poorly.
You could borrow from worse.
Yeah.
Well, no, with stuff that doesn't seem like it's going to add anything significantly.
Well, there's going to be a third Captain America. Well, I guess maybe a fourth Captain America, right?
Yeah. Well, no, there's already like 9 of them. Because remember,
I'm talking about
the Captain America, the Railways, and the American Indian Captain America, and all the other fake ones from that gay.
Well, the one thing you're going to see here, though, is you can't have those in the past. So
Maybe.
at least there's that. Oh, I assume.
But Sully, you were the big champion of Captain America #1. You thought that was a fantastic book this week.
I liked it. I think it's a great start. I think it's a really good model of Marvel's sliding timeline and how it adapts over. They don't need a crisis because it's always fluid. And so now it's a week after Cap's been thawed and he's getting visited by Tony Stark.
Big thought right after 9/11 is rough.
Yeah. And so you got a Gulf War veteran, you got 9/11, and then you also have Tony Stark showing up in that. I love the Mark III armor, and that's the one. It's the first red and gold with the peaks on the faceplate. It kind of didn't make sense in a way, but then there came the Mark IV, which is the most iconic one. But I love the what?
So I got a question then.
Yeah,
because I as I said, I flipped through it. I didn't. So if he was awakened right after 9/11, now the Marvel sliding timeline is up to 24 years. So Peter's pushing 40. I mean, like the math don't math here.
Right. Okay. So sliding timeline is.
It was at like 16 years, so they've just added 8 more years.
Right, but in the way things match up to the real world, if you're going to be using real world events,
yeah.
So you have to kind of. So it's like even over in like I noticed in Amazing Spider-Man this week, you got Peter making like Super Mario Brother references, like with the web bomb, and it's like, well, that makes sense because 30 years ago, I mean, like 25 years ago. Pete would have been a kid playing GameCube, So like at this point, as time marches on.
Yeah, because he's 30, so yeah, it would have been GameCube.
Yeah.
But no, like my point remains. If they're now thawing him right after 9/11, that's adding 8 years to the sliding timeline just overnight.
Well, it probably wasn't right after 9/11 because when 9/11 happens, the kid is like 9 years old, and then he ends up in going through boot camp during the book. So obviously, it's jumped ahead at least 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be right on. You might be right in line. Now that I think about it. Because the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan lasted for quite some time.
I mean, and it shows too, like the limitations of when you anchor events in real life into your fantasy world. I mean, I think that's going to trip you up further down the line.
Especially as a lot of us, Dylan excluded here, as we get old, suddenly the time seems to move faster, and things that when we think of, 10 years ago, we're thinking 1995, not 2015.
This is very true.
Yeah, everything's perpetually 10 years ago.
Yes.
Oh, that was 10 years ago. You mean 30?
Yes, exactly. All of a sudden,
40?
Exactly. This is the problem with us being fucking old now.
That's right. Don't listen to us.
So, yeah.
So Dylan, you're also a cinephile. You've got the AMC like movie pass or anything. You go hit anything this week?
So Jurassic World Rebirth. Yeah. So that was the only thing I
There's
saw
a lot
this
of
week.
word on the street that movie sucks.
So I think every sequel after Jurassic Park sucks. This one, after you pass like the first 40 minutes, I actually liked it. This was the first one that I've actually enjoyed since the first one. The first 40 minutes is terrible. It's awful. No one has any chemistry. The dialogue's bad. Nothing's interesting. And then they introduce this family, and I like the family, and things get more interesting. Then you get some cool set pieces and stuff. But it's not going to surprise you. It's not going to wow you. Everyone you think that's going to die dies. Everyone thinks you're going to live lives. There's nothing particularly interesting. It's just if you want cool dinosaurs and fun set pieces, you'll get that. It delivers that. So,
Has
I
it got any
enjoyed
hype
that.
for Superman? Are you ready for the summer season?
Yeah, I'm excited to see it in 3 days now. Is it on Tuesday?
It's wild that Superman's already here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like I've been waiting forever. It felt like that announcement was going to take forever. They announced like, Superman will be coming out in 2 years. It's like, that's so far. 2025. That's so far from now. Now we're here.
So you notoriously don't like to watch superhero movies, but there's a lot of hype on Superman. Are you going to check it out?
Yeah, me and the boys and whoever else wants to come along at the store are gonna get together and watch Superman and the Fantastic Four. Probably like a week or two after it comes out, though, because we have to coordinate with conventions and stuff like that.
Very nice. Which one are you more excited for, Superman or Fantastic Four?
Superman for sure. Although
I'm sure.
I don't really want to. I don't need all these other characters that are going to be in it. I just don't. I don't like that stuff. What can I say?
I've always thought of you as more of a Marvel zombie in this Fantastic Four. At least the tone and the way the thing looks, it looks like it was
Dude,
ripped right out of the comic book.
So I thought Fantastic Four, the very, very first preview that they showed was damn good looking. I like that a lot. And I am excited to see it, but I've never been a Fantastic Four guy. I'm a Spider-Man, X-Men person. Thor.
I knew there was a
Fantastic Four
reason I
can
liked you so much.
spin. What was that?
But I knew there was some reason I liked you so much.
There you go. I mean, when I was growing up, it was more, John Romita Jr. And if I go back, I like Steve Ditko and Gil Kane. And those are kind of my dudes. And those guys aren't really a I mean, what Romita did a couple issues of Fantastic Four, or I should say his father. I don't even think John Jr. did any. Well, he did like a couple one shots or something.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
So even Yule's going to be coming out for
Superman.
these movies. It's going to be a good summer season, Dylan. I feel it.
Yeah, I'm excited. If Superman's good, I'm fine. Every other movie can be dog shit. I just need Superman to be good.
But you also said you like 28 Years Later.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought 28
It
Years
needs
Later
to
was good.
support if you're going to get that trilogy.
Yeah, well, it pisses me off that they're just getting that one lady to do the second movie. That makes no sense. Danny Boyle's not doing the second one. You got the one lady who did the Marvels.
Oh, that sounds like a
This is really
brilliant.
stupid.
That
Well,
sounds
hey.
fucking brilliant. Let's set our franchise on fire again.
Yeah, like here's a sequel to a movie that came out 20 years ago that everyone loved here, finally, from the same director. And then for the one after it, the lady that did the Marvels, here you go. I was like, what? Why? I think Danny Boyle's doing the third one if they do a third one, but
Yeah, that's the plan. But I don't know. It's
they can survive after the sequel. Because I did like 28 Years Later, though. I thought it was good.
of the Years Later movies or the 28 whatever movies. Which one's the best?
28 Days Later is still the best.
Is 28 Years Later better than 28 Weeks Later?
Yes. Yes. So days, years, weeks.
And then
Best worst.
years 2. We know that it's going to be years 2.
Let's see.
I forgot
Maybe
28 months later.
maybe Marvel. Oh yeah. Maybe Marvel is holding her back. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe this director's really good. It's just
No.
Marvel. Maybe that's it.
She
We need to be
was-
optimistic.
She was torpedoed by Kevin Feige.
You never know. Could be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Sully. So you're also on the channel. You've been talking about comic books and stuff. We've got to cover all the books yesterday. You actually read 26 new comic books this week.
27. I forgot to count Teen Titans Go, which ended up being a really big surprise.
One maybe
And
one of the
liked
better
it.
ones.
Yeah, and it's a kid's book, and it was really patriotic, and I find that to be so refreshing. Seeing like, wow, talking about America in a positive light and mass media and in a comic book. I thought, like, wow, Dennis Camp totally did not write this issue of Teen Titans Go. I can tell you that.
But 27 books is no joke, dude. Like, that's commitment.
That's
I read 15. Or no, I read 16.
Yeah, I'm a voracious reader. What can I say? And plus, you got to be armed with your opinions when you come on these shows. You got to read what's out there.
Your big surprise might be good for you. You said Godzilla versus Thor was the one.
Godzilla versus Thor was fun. Yeah. And it just might be my pick of the week because it's one thing to read review copies. It's another thing to be so impressed with it. You pick it up at the local comic book shop on Wednesday on new release day. When you're picking up your pull list, you're like, no, I'm getting this too. Because I've been a little bit hit or miss, especially more miss than hit with like Godzilla versus Fantastic Four, Godzilla versus Spider-Man. This one got the sauce. Really great Aaron Cooter artwork. It's just battle scenes, page after page after page after beautifully done page, and it's a nice standalone, and it's got a great ending. And it's so good that I'm gonna give it to my 15-year-old nephew because I think, kid, you're gonna love this. Here's a funny book.
Did you get to read it, Yule? You said you're a big Thor fan.
I'm not. No, I didn't read that.
It's good.
I paged through it. It looked good.
I didn't read it either. I kind of given up after the Godzilla versus Spider-Man. I was like,
dude, that was so disappointing. Oh, it was like, I can't read any more of these. Are they all going to be like fucking around in the past and everything? I just don't care,
Yeah. So I made a mistake. I'm going to read Thor versus Godzilla and see if it makes my best of the week.
It looks good. I mean, it's a damn good looking book. People were really stoked with the main cover. There's a foil, so you can make more money. That. So as a business,
I almost got suckered for that 1 in 25 variant cover. It was going for $14.99, but it was like, I like this book, but not that much.
Dude, it's a $7 book. You're only doubling the price on a 1 in 25 variant. That's a good price.
Not bad.
I'd recommend doing it.
Yeah, what were you thinking, Sully? You went and fucking did Red Band comic books? You can't support a good investment like that?
I don't do the speculating.
I liked it. I didn't want to buy it. That's the worst thing you can do at a comic book store. Just
it's a $4.99 book.
All right, I'm sorry.
Dude.
Whatever. I guess I wasn't doing as good this week.
So, Sully, you had 4th of July yesterday. You are a chef. Where did you go? Like, where did your head go with the food? What did you
I went classic Americana. I gorged myself on buffalo on barbecue wings and cheeseburgers and fries, and I pulled out a rack of ribs to cook off today and eat for the rest of the weekend. So yeah, I like American comfort food. So happy birthday, America.
When you say barbecue wings, I'm assuming that you grilled them and then sauced them with barbecue sauce, that you didn't deep fry and then put like barbecue sauce on
it. They're actually, well, to be honest, there's
the TGI Fridays.
Yeah.
At my supermarket, they have a wing bar. And so what they do with the leftover wings is they package them and sell them 2 for $1. So I get the heaviest ones, and I eat wings like all week long. It's like my blood type is ranch dressing, like Homer Simpson.
You're supposed to be a chef. You couldn't make your own wings.
I am. I can make my own wings. Sure, and they're tasty. But sometimes it's like
he doesn't want to work from home.
Exactly.
I don't watch any of those kitchen shows either. It's like people working in an office who watch The Office. I got to tell you, I've worked with a few Gordon Ramsays. And that's officially a toxic work environment now. That's like such a 20
officially now thing. It is, but back then it was
culture. Yeah,
Sully, it's paying fucking dues, man. What are you talking about? Why are you bitching out on this?
Oh, just the world.
You want to be called an idiot sandwich and hold some bread between your fucking ears? I love Gordon Ramsay.
Chef was abusive to me. Yeah,
that's the best meme ever. What are you talking about?
I know.
So you got any videos people should be looking out for?
Yeah, I'm actually restarting an old concept of mine. I love hockey. I love NHL hockey, international hockey, College hockey, not so much, but I love hockey, and it's called The Smoking Puck, and I do it once a week, and I'm going back to doing a hockey blog now and on YouTube in vlog format. I used to have a blog way back in the bloggers days, and I had one for like 17 years, and I deleted it one day just because I was like, oh shit, like someone's gonna like bust me on something that I said 10 years ago with my sense of humor. It's just, I was like, I could just smell it in the air with all the woke stuff and the cancel culture. So I have a sense of humor. I have a savage wit.
So your YouTube channel has cooking, comic books, and hockey?
And hockey, yes. And spirituality too. Do a lot of spiritual stuff. I'm doing bunnies.
Don't forget bunnies.
We have bunnies. We see planets in the morning. There are bunnies on my lawn. I wake up in the morning. I exit my condo, and it's surrounded by bird song and little hopping bunnies. It's like a Disney movie. Man. Here comes the baker with the
very eccentric channel. Very nice. If you're into hockey, definitely go check out Sully's channel.
Yeah, once a week. It's Boston centric. I'm a big Boston Bruins fan. I bleed black and gold. Hockey is God's sport. On the 8th day, God was born and created Canadians. It is the yin and yang of all sports. It's about brutal intensity and sheer grace.
Well, if you're bleeding black and gold, you should probably just become a Penguin fan like everyone else.
Yeah.
Very nice. We do need to get a little promo out there. Today's video is sponsored. Definitely want to say thank you to Unholy Nightmare 2 and the entire team. If you haven't backed it yet, you are running out of time. Unholy Nightmare number 2 is live on Kickstarter. This issue cranks up the carnage with even more monsters, madness, and mayhem. And if you're a collector, buckle up, Buttercup. We've got foil and metal covers that'll melt your short box. Our very own Drew, aka Dolan Waddick, and Aaron Sparrow are back, and they've teamed up with Voodoo for the Golem add-on, a supernatural war story packed with fury, grit, and Nazi splattering vengeance. You're seeing the trailer now, but that's just the surface. In the final 48 hours, we're unleashing 2 killer covers. Aurelio's raw black and white original and a brutal full-color battle variant by JC Grande. Don't miss your shot. Scan the code or hit the link in the video description to back Unholy Nightmare number 2 today. The campaign ends tomorrow, July 6th, right here. Join Drew, Aaron, and more for a special live stream at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Thinking Critical YouTube. Very nice. So there's going to be a bonus stream this week. Tomorrow, Aaron will be running it. Drew will be there. I imagine a couple of these chuckleheads will also be there, wrapping up the campaign and having a good time.
Wrap it up. I'll take it.
The book looks good.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Mm-hmm. And Aaron says there's a cliffhanger in issue 2 that is going to blow people's minds. So definitely you're running out of time, but definitely show up to the stream tomorrow night. I won't be able to be there because I'll be sleeping, but the Thinking Critical family will be in the house talking about all that. We got some stuff here from the people. Is Jagron 2 for you? Have you had issues getting your Dynamite stuff?
Well, I had, but now it's coming in through Lunar, so everything's great, and it looks like anything that I was missing, it got stopped over at Diamond, which was like dynamite. Why didn't you do that a few months ago? Takes a while to stop that speeding train.
Yeah, it's been a complete clusterfuck on all that stuff. Of course, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Jagged also says, so is anyone at Marvel paying attention to continuity? We have 2 Gwens now who are real. Is Peter's backstory now changed forever? Who's to blame? So Doc and I already recorded an entire video on this. It'll be coming out tomorrow. What are your thoughts on this, Yul? I know you're a comic book shop owner, but you're also a Marvel zombie. What do you think about the implications of Spider-Gwen, the Ghost Spider 15?
What happened?
Spider-Gwen has the Cosmic Cube inside of her, and she reconciles with the Cosmic Cube, and the Cosmic Cube restitches the fabric and reality of the Marvel 616 to where Captain Stacy is there, and she's there, and they've always been there. They're not from a multiverse anymore.
All right. God damn. I don't care. That's it. I don't care. I don't read those books anyway. Oh, man, if they can reset everything ham-fist it in the pages of Spider-Gwen and then fix everything, I wouldn't care.
Who's to
But
blame? I blame this on Nick Lowe. He should know better than this.
I couldn't tell you. The great covers on those Spider-Gwens, aren't they?
That's what it's got going for it.
I don't read these books because, like, I am not so much a Marvel zombie that I would have ever read West Coast Avengers back in the Jim Shooter days. Never. Same thing with the Fantastic Four. If Byrne wasn't doing it, I didn't care. He's not going to be on the show, by the way. That'd be hot, right? A little John
great.
Byrne action.
That would be amazing. Be like, you do not need to filter yourself. Tell me exactly how you feel about it.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. So so forgive my ignorance on this, but I just can't be I'm behind on books I want to read. I don't review this. I just buy it. I look at numbers. Things are strictly numbers when I'm buying them for the store. Rarely does my emotion come into play. Sometimes if I listen to it, it would be better. And sometimes if I didn't listen to it, it would be better. So you can't win. You can't win. I don't know about this stuff. I'm sorry to tell you.
You can win by watching the video with Doc and I tomorrow.
All right, I will. I can't wait.
Going to be a fun one. Doc might lose his shit a little bit. Federico de la Casa, great loss with Jim Shooter, the only writer besides Moore and Starlin that could write Godly Beings properly and the best EIC in history.
I would recommend reading some Godland by Joe Casey. There you go.
Boom.
Yeah, everyone always thinks about Jim Shooter almost strictly as the Marvel editor-in-chief. But when you start thinking about it, he was writing comic book scripts when he was 13, 14 years old, and then being paid for them and basically a professional writer in his early teens, basically a wonderkin. And he definitely wrote some crazy stuff. I know Breen absolutely swears by the Korbach saga.
That one's good.
He said that's the best Avengers story of all time, according to him.
Sure, possibly.
But yeah,
I mean, it's no Kree Skrull saga, or war. I mean, I should say. Now that I think
or
about
Defenders
it.
War.
No, well, Defenders of Avengers War is cool and first crossover, kind of. But Barry Windsor Smith and Neil Adams drawing an Avengers book, can't beat that.
Calum says, I never thought I would be bored watching a Jurassic Park movie. What the fuck? First, the Spinosaurs. You've seen all their screen time in the trailers. And the Raptors are a joke and have 5 seconds in that New Mutant. It doesn't do anything. And, of course, there's a comedy theme of healthcare and climate. And the animals, they marketed, you don't see them. There's no danger or fights. Lastly, Kevin Feige, I think, is to blame why female leads suck now.
Interesting theory.
So obviously you have a major league difference of opinion on this one, Dylan. You think the Spinosaurs are great, or is that all the screen time they get?
Well, he opened up by saying he thought he'd never be bored by a Jurassic Park movie. Has he seen any Jurassic Park sequel? Is this the first Jurassic Park movie you've seen since the first one?
I thought Fallen Kingdom was awful. That's when I stopped watching.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like, all the sequels are bad. This one,
I didn't see Dominion.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. Dominion is terrible also. This one is better than all the Jurassic World movies. But
when you say sequels, you mean everything after Spielberg even? Or
after the first
Jurassic
one?
Park 3, Jurassic World.
I think Jurassic Park 2 is the only halfway decent Jurassic Park movie after the first one. It's the only one that's okay. And all the others are just really bad. I think they're really bad. I think all the Jurassic World movies suck. But this one was fine. Again, there's like no stakes in terms of who's going to die and who's going to live. But that's the same in the first Jurassic Park movie. There's no like, oh wow, I'm real surprised that person died. All the important characters live and all the nobody characters die. It's been like that since the beginning. But yeah, this one had fun set pieces and cool stuff. The River Rapids scene with the T-Rex is awesome. There's like some cool stuff in here. It's just the opening, like the first 40 minutes is really bad. And then it gets good and interesting.
I was expecting the Spinosaur to be like the T-Rex of this movie.
So there's not really a T-Rex in this movie, to be honest. There's not like a one that's like throughout
dominant.
the whole movie. It's just at the very end you get that new genetically modified one that they show in the trailer that they were teasing. That one shows up at the very end, and that was like supposed to be the big one.
Final boss.
Yeah.
Was there some common themes of healthcare and climate change?
Well, the whole reason they're there is to get blood samples from the dinosaurs to like invent something that can like stop heart disease or whatever. And one of the people on the mission is like, what if we gave this to everyone instead of this mega corporation so everyone can help heal? And that's like the main thing. And as far as climate change, there's not really a big harp on climate change. Just the dinosaurs can only live close to the equator because that's the closest to how it was 800 billion years ago or whatever. And that's kind of it. There's not a whole big thing on climate change. But yeah, as far as the healthcare thing, it's just them mentioning, be like, we shouldn't give it to this rich company. We should give it to everyone so that way people can all have this medicine that's going to be invented from the dinosaur blood. That's it.
I watched The Saint too.
So.
It was a fine movie with Val Kilmer. What did you think about the lead of ScarJo? Was she an awesome, badass female lead character?
So Scarlett Johansson's not very good at being charming, and they try to have her be charming a lot in this movie. So that's not one of her acting specialties, and it's very funny because in the first 10 minutes they introduced her as the badass. This one dude as the nerdy scientist, this other guy's like the corporate greedy guy. They all sit down. Hers is the only one whose feet don't touch the ground, and she's like swinging them like a little kid, like has them crossed. It's like, this is the badass. And then there's another scene where they give her the gun that shoots the needle that'll draw the blood from the dinosaurs, and they're in the tall grass. She's the only person who can't see over the grass because she's like 5 feet tall. Why is one taking the shot? That makes no sense. So, I mean, she does good in the other scenes. It's just when they try to have her be, they try to kind of have her be like how Chris Pratt was in Jurassic World a little bit. Like, she's not good at being charming. Other than that, she does good, but I hated her group. Her group with the whole mercenaries, the only person I liked was Mahershala Ali, who was the boat captain. He was good. But everyone else as part of that group, I couldn't care less about.
It's like Danny McBride in that fucking Aliens movie. You're like, I don't care if this entire crew dies. They're all idiots except for the guy flying.
Well, yeah, but I love the android in that movie. Michael
yeah, I mean, Danny
amazing.
McBride was the only one I cared about living. Like, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I think I'm supposed to care about all these people.
Prometheus.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Retarded scientists.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I've never seen this. Let me stick my face in it.
Let's touch the things.
Yeah. Then Callum says, does anyone know what Superman is about? Because it's crypto and marketing and James Gunn going me.
About feelings, I think, right?
I think it's just about Superman.
Yeah.
I mean,
about
doing
his
super
early
things.
days in first coming to public notoriety, and Lex obviously trying to turn the entire world against him, I think is what it's about. No, Superman overcoming it.
Yep.
But there is a lot of crypto.
Yeah,
I don't think the marketing's
device.
been good at all, Dylan, by the way. Especially the stuff that's come out like the last 2 weeks. They should have done the 2 trailers and shut it down.
I think releasing all the clips is a bad idea. That's what I think was dumb. Like, to let people experience that in the context in the theater instead of everyone trying to pick it apart in isolation. But I think the trailers have been good, and I think
a couple of big trailers and just leave it alone. I think
it's just,
buzz.
It's just all the clips I think was a mistake.
Yeah, I'm with you. But I think it's going to be a decent Superman movie. I've got hope. I think it's going to do very, very well.
I'm excited for it. It's just, man, releasing around Jurassic World and Fantastic Four.
Jagron 2. Oh, yeah. Doc and Wes Gotham City Sirens review, too. We didn't review that one, Doc. We reviewed Wolverines and Deadpools.
Yeah, we
might do Gotham City Sirens next week.
Yeah,
we'll read Wolverines and Deadpools.
You really don't want to.
I don't. I know I didn't.
I mean,
you should watch the video. It was fun.
It's Cody Ziegler. I mean, the entire thing was him trying to force legacy names.
Let me ask you, who could work on that book to make you really want to read it?
Nobody. There's absolutely
nobody in the world, right?
No, because the
Marjorie
concept is fucking dumb. The idea behind
the Monstrous team. If they did it, I'd pick it up. Just because, like, what? The Monstrous team is doing this? Okay, I'd pick it up.
Yeah,
even that. No, I
probably wouldn't buy number 2 though.
Doc and I probably let you down, but we will review Gotham City Sirens Unfit for Orbit number 2 next week. But Wolverine's and Deadpool's was egregiously bad, and Doc is an enormous Wolverine and Deadpool fit, so it fit a little better. Don't worry, Doc. You're not getting out of it, though, dude. Dr. Touchdown. Wes, you recommended Jed McKay's run of Moon Knight, and it was amazing. Thanks for that. You're absolutely welcome. I'm glad you liked it. Jed McKay's run on Moon Knight with Alessandro Cappuccio, who's now the artist on Ultimate Wolverine, is absolutely fantastic. Really, really good stuff. And then he says, anyway, Yule, what's your favorite comic book superhero and your favorite run of theirs?
I'm going to say Spider-Man is.
It's got to be Spider-Man.
Probably the very beginning, or obviously Ditko stuff. You got some really classic stories and some. I guess Stan Lee's probably writing his best on that book. So that one, but probably my Spider-Man's from my. Well, actually, get the Jenkins and Buckingham Spectacular Spider-Man when they relaunched it. Most of those issues are single story issues, and they're just fantastic. Just great classic artwork that's going to make you remember everybody I've read before them, and really solid stories. Some stories that maybe like today people would put a label on them, but they're so fantastically written and drawn. You just got to read them. Good stuff. That's what I would read.
Great.
So you're going with the Buckingham
Paul Jenkins
run for Spectacular Spider-Man, or the original Stan and Ditko run?
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I mean, it's easy to say all the stuff I really cut my teeth on were anything from basically 150 to 300, almost 300. I kind of dipped out around McFarlane. There you go.
You were the guy that didn't like McFarlane.
I didn't like those stories, and I didn't like that marriage that much at all.
I didn't like Adjective with Spider-Man.
Hated that. I mean, that's just garbage. But it wasn't until Larson came on that I thought the stories got a little bit better. And even though he's not as good as McFarlane for the most part, I thought he did a better Spider-Man. Like, it was just a lot more fun.
I think David Michelini was finally getting into his groove.
Yeah. I mean, I read those Venom stories. Those are great. And, I love Chance. I thought it was a really cool looking character. I don't think they've ever really done anything with him. I mean, he is C-level at best, but, those were good. But the ones that 151 to 252, there you go. Those are the ones.
And finally, Sully, the Blues beat the Bruins in 2019.
Yeah, you got that right. Yeah. And then the Bruins beat themselves in 2020, 2021, and so on. And this season, yeah. No, the Blues played a good series. They won the Stanley Cup that year.
Callum says, the only nice thing I can think of is Jean and Blade will be Marvel rivals, and her design is gorgeous.
Okay.
I'm assuming he's talking about Jean Grey.
I'm assuming so. And
well, if you want to see more of them, the Marvel swimsuit issue comes out next week.
That's true. What has the reception of Marvel Rivals been? Has it driven any interest that you've seen?
Not really. Mostly for the variant covers. And that's
but
only
still,
like
that's a sale, people. Right?
Yeah. It's a sale.
It's just the same.
I'm not sneezing.
But it's just two people.
Yeah. Right. So there's going to be a mini series starting up real soon, and we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I was thinking about it while I was doing the order, and I was like, I really wish Marvel Rivals would somehow say, go to the comic store and read this garbage. But
even
I
they know better.
I assume they're not doing that,
Kalichioki says, I'm going to be pissed if True Justice in the American Way is not in the new Superman film. Sick of DC avoiding that. Fuck Human Way or Better Tomorrow.
It's not going to be in the movie.
Dude. It's not going to be in the movie. There's no way they're going to allow it.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Wow.
They want other.
I wish they would just take it out. If they're not going to do True Justice American Way, just don't have the save.
Yeah.
Yeah. Better Tomorrow sounds so dumb.
Yeah. Or the Human Way is even worse. It's like globalist.
Yeah.
What are you working with the fucking UN?
Not only that, but what is the human way? The human way is killing each other.
Yeah.
Might be true.
Well, I thought Soups was all about not interfering as much as possible, right? I mean, he doesn't dictate what people should do in other countries or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't technically Superman could take over the world.
Yeah, that's my
And the
point. I mean, why not? Why are you doing this
If
here?
it wasn't
you know?
for the American way, Superman would have ended up Homelander or any of the countless multiverse
Sun.
variants of that. It was his American farm upbringing with those values and living in this great nation that created Superman. He's just an overpowered alien any other way. And the American way really matters.
Is this how I do it for you, Sully?
The
Am I
what?
gonna get fireworks? What's going on? Do I not got the things anymore?
I don't know.
Can I do
Is
this?
that- Oh,
Am I gonna get hearts?
no.
Apparently
I
I
don't
turned it
know.
off.
I can-
I
maybe
thought I was
that's
gonna
one
get
of the-
fireworks to celebrate with you there, Sully.
I mean, maybe that's like the enhanced things they were warning us about in the StreamYard thing. Is that it? Like,
Maybe. Who knows? Calum says, I grew up watching those movies. I'm assuming he's talking about Jurassic Park now. 4 was, I enjoyed that. 5 was written by Rings of Power people, and 6 was...
Forgettable.
I thought Jurassic World was perfectly fine as just like a remake of the first Jurassic Park movie. You know, the couple kids, dinosaurs escape, start eating people. Parental figure that hates children has to go out there and save the children and realize that they love kids in the end.
It's
Plus,
not
you
like
get
that
the
in the
original
book.
Jurassic Park music, and you
Oh,
see the
that-
cars and everything.
That's a very funny thing in the new one. The first time they play the Jurassic Park theme, it's just two people having a boring ass conversation. They just start playing it. It was so weird. There was like some magical moment with dinosaurs, two people on a boat, and they're just having a conversation, and then like they subtly play the Jurassic Park theme. It's like, why is this the first inclusion of it?
So, I saw Jurassic Park when I was 16, and it was like a seminal moment in the movie theater. It was like watching the fucking Matrix or
It
Toy
was
Story for the
so
first
loud.
time. It's
Jaws
something like
for the first
ingrained
time?
in. Except, well, I didn't see Jaws in the theater because I was too young. But like, so when I was watching Jurassic World and you saw the beats, and then stop being blurred out on me. But then you hear the music and you see the cars and everything. It definitely got my nostalgia bits going. So I could see how it might miss you, because you obviously you like Jurassic Park, but you would have seen it like on DVD or something.
Yeah, I saw it at home for the first time, but still, I have a lot of nostalgia attached to it. It's just Jurassic World was bad. I didn't think it was
You
shot
could beat
well.
The same movie.
I didn't think the characters were done well. I didn't care at all. Like, I cared about the characters in the first one, and I thought it visually looked a lot better. I thought visually Jurassic World looks really bad. Like, the effects are good, but just the way the movie's shot, I think.
But the 5th one is awful.
Yeah, terrible.
Fallen Kingdom was absolute garbage. I didn't make it to Dominion, but Aaron told me
Dominion's
it's
even worse. Yeah,
Yeah,
Dominion's
'cause it's
even
about
worse.
Locusts or something.
Yeah, locusts like destroying the world's food supply. It's really stupid.
Yeah. Calum, explain how a Snickers bar can cause a power outage. There were some things I did like, but come on, these animals deserve better than the kids eating.
I mean, yeah, but the kids never get eaten in these movies. But the power outage is something, like I said, the first 40 minutes is bad. That that power outage happens the first 40 minutes.
Like a Snicker bar gets sucked into like an air blower, and it
Yes,
blows up.
a dude is eating a Snickers bar at the place where they're experimenting on dinosaurs, and they have this fancy door that opens and closes, and like the thing that causes it to go in and out, it gets sucked into it, and so it shuts down the door, and so that's how the big experimental dinosaur escapes.
That feels like
That's the inciting
some
incident.
bullshit talking about. We're not
Really?
supposed to be throwing our Snickers
How-
garbage on the ground. Fuck you, hippies! I'll throw
Give
my
a
trash
hoot.
anywhere.
Wait,
You can't
on-
stop me.
I got a question. How old is that Snickers bar to be that fucking
It's the
hard?
rapper, dude.
No,
It's
it's the rapper. It's literally the rapper that does it. It's stupid. Like I said, the first 40 minutes of the movie is genuinely terrible. And then after that, the movie gets good. But the first 40 minutes.
Apparently,
So that was the product placement. Was that Snickers wrapper?
Mars Candy must have sponsored this because they're everywhere in this movie.
Oh.
Kids are eating M&Ms. There's
The
like
dinosaurs are eating them. You know, it's just
they're literally everywhere.
The worst product placement I ever saw was in a Transformers movie with Marky Mark, where like this big thing's happening. He just like picks up a beer out of like a knocked over a beer truck and just like
Oh
shoves it.
yeah.
Oh, come on, that's
Yeah, it's like-
awesome.
like
That
a
is
Bud Light
cool.
truck got hit or something. Yeah. I
It
remember
was
that.
so weird. I was like, where did this come from? Like, I like a
Yeah.
beer as much as anybody, but it's so weird. Wraith X7, the 2 Jurassic World animated series are better than most of the sequels. They are surprisingly scary. They really are, because my 4-year-old loves dinosaurs. We watched Chaos Theory and Camp Cretaceous. And even like in the opening with Camp Cretaceous, he always ends up hiding his eyes before the T-Rex like breaks through the doors or whatever with the big roar at the beginning. So I was surprised that they are a little bit more scary than you anticipate for a show for like 8-year-olds.
Well, the best Jurassic World thing was the director of the Jurassic World movies did like a little short that was like a camping thing in the woods that was better than anything he did in any of the movies. They did that as like a promo, and it's way better and it's more scary and it's nothing like the Jurassic World movies.
But yeah, the sequel shows are perfectly fine. They're pretty good, actually. Not a bad cast. Then Calum says, and what Wraith X7 said, they hired the She-Ra 2018 producer after season 3 and made 2 characters gay at the last minute.
For what?
I believe he's talking about the animated show. There are I think there are two girls that are lesbians in the show.
Excellent.
But it's not like a big part of it. But you just gotta, I don't know. This
Is
is
he trying
everything.
to sell me on this movie?
No, I think he's talking about the
Oh, whatever. I'm
show.
just joking.
The question is, are they hot lesbians?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they're animated. I don't.
Oh,
Oh,
never
it's
mind.
animated.
I don't care.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
it's
more
not
like
live
that.
action. These are like 3D animation, like Toy Story.
Meh.
And then Dr. Touchdown, personally speaking, Rivals got me back into comics, just older comics like 80s Moon Knight. Also, shout out to Dylan. Your video on Absolute Batman got me to want to read it.
Nice. Cool.
Very nice.
We've never talked about 80s Moon Knight on this show once. I mean, seriously, Dr. Touchdown. I'm sure we've talked about Sinclair.
We've definitely talked about 80s Moon Knight.
Jeez. Oh my God. Just read anything in the 80s that isn't West Coast event. As long as Al Milgrom is not the lead on anything, you should read it from the 80s. How's that?
The 80s was pretty spectacular. You can even go to all the DC stuff, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. It kind of, like a lot of people that Jim Shooter pissed off went over to DC and they tried
you get
really
Man of
hard.
Steel.
That happens a little bit later, yeah. But before that, it was Marv Wolfman and George Perez famously signing, I think, a 10-year contract so that he wouldn't be even tempted to go back to Marvel. He hated it.
Teen Titans.
Yeah, we got that.
So are you willing to concede that the Wolfman Perez Teen Titans was better than X-Men at the time?
Only because Cockrum's drawing it, probably, but when Paul Smith comes on, it's good again. And I don't know, Chris Claremont. I mean, it's not better than Byrne, that's for sure. And the other thing about George Perez, especially then, his stuff is so very good, but he's not dynamic enough, and there's not enough. It's just a lot of characters posing and looking perfect, but not Kirby punching. And John Byrne just has the animation down all the way from the beginning.
So what do you think about Absolute Batman now, Dylan? What are we, like 9 issues into it?
I'm enjoying it. It's just they still haven't found a backup artist that complements Nick Tragotta. That's my main issue right now. So when Nick Tragotta's not on there and like I pick up that issue, it goes to the bottom of the stack for when I'm reading it that week. It's like I can wait. But when
Didn't
Nick Tragotta's
Marcos
on there, it's more
Martin do it?
Yes, I thought he was much better.
He's amazing.
I
We're
thought the
so lucky
last
that he
villain
did
was way better.
anything. Okay.
He was better than the first villain artist, but it still wasn't my cup of tea, and I feel like
Okay.
didn't really compliment Tragotta. Especially there's like Batman's got the most gigantic chin in those issues, and it looks hilarious. And he also doesn't have pupils a lot of the time. It's really, and I mean Bruce, not just like Batman, but Bruce has no pupils and like a giant chin. It just doesn't. I don't
Big
think it
dumb
looks too
Batman.
good. Well, yeah, but I think Nick Tragotta does that better. I think he does a good job of Big Dumb Batman to where this Freeze arc.
Wait, the
was,
Marcos Martin was the Mr. Freeze issues.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
That
about.
was better than the Gabriel Hernandez Walker stuff, but
Yeah,
still
but that's
not quite
not
right,
that's a
is it?
low bar. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they found their guy to be filling in for Dracoda. That's
They
my main
definitely
issue
need to
so
get
far.
that fill-in artist from Absolute Wonder Woman to be the Absolute Wonder Woman artist full time.
Definitely. Yeah.
That dude is awesome.
Yeah. Fits that world much better.
I agree. Frank Zaka says, "Hey guys, I read Cap #1. Is Chip changing his costume?"
I think he's just doing that for this infiltration mission. I think because they're
Yeah.
going on that stealth mission to Latveria to, to get Doctor Doom. So I think that's why he's in that suit. I don't think that's a permanent change.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just doing it for that. And you'll get some covers and stuff out of it, but that'll probably be the extent of it.
Yeah.
Kind of
just
like
for
the Spider-Man orange costume that he had like 2 or 3 years ago. It was just for one story arc. And then Calm says, "I think what's lacking in the current movies, there's no threat or villain like the alpha female from the first movie or the Spinosaur Indominus Rex." Well, that's what it kind of sounded like what Dylan was saying, that there isn't like this one big threat that's constantly going through and menacing them throughout the movie.
Yeah, you don't have that because the big bad, they introduce him in the very beginning and then you don't see him until like the last 10, 15 minutes. So there's nothing like, it's just like random dinosaurs throughout because, again, they have these 3 dinosaurs they have to go to get blood samples from. So it's like mission to mission to mission. There's no like one single dinosaur that's following them throughout that or nothing. So it's a bunch of random dinosaurs they run into. And at the very end, you go to the facility that you see in the beginning that got taken out by a Snickers wrapper. You're like, oh, this is the place from the beginning. That one dinosaur is going to be there. Then you see it.
And then Noble Phantasm, why did DC make Icon story canon to DC Comics cosmology, knowing full well it makes Superman's story less original, despite Superman being first?
Mark Waid's a dumbass.
I don't know why they're always like trying to shove Wildstorm and Milestone and Charlton like history into DC history. You know, I understand you own the characters, but not everything can just all fit in there.
It's the
seamlessly.
same reason why they have established characters constantly validating new forgettable waste of paper characters, because they want to get this thing over. They can't do it through storyline, so they force it and put it into the mouths. Well, in a lot of cases, they'll put it into the mouths of characters that you do like, and if not, then they will just force it into whatever timeline.
It is kind of weird, you know, because Superman is the original, Icon is the analog of Superman, but now chronologically he arrives 100 years earlier than Superman, or maybe a couple hundred years, really.
In fairness, in the Milestone universe, he arrived.
Yeah, but that's now in the
I
DC
know
universe.
it's now the DC universe.
Dude, that's crazy. I mean, I've been thinking about that a lot. I kind of use that Icon as a reason to pick this one up, actually, that book, because
the Mark Waid book.
They're forcing. Yeah, I wasn't pushing it for him. No, but it's a history. I said, look, you buy a DC book, you should be buying this, and that's and this is the reason, because it's different. But I'm done talking about that.
Yeah, we'll see how it
Maybe
goes
it's
when it gets to the modern comic books. It's going to be much more difficult when you're trying to shoehorn in the fucking Watchmen universe.
I will tell you, but look, I'll tell you exactly why they did it. Mark Waid virtue signaling. The end.
Well, you got to place it in there if it's gonna. I mean, DC's trying to like own everything they can. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
I understand that, but it's Mark Waid virtue signaling, because.
Well, I would say it's Dwayne McDuffie virtue signaling then, because whoever frickin' wrote it back in the day.
Oh no!
I don't think he ever intended for Icon to be in the DC universe.
No.
I'm just joking. I'm just.
I was very surprised we got Scalp Hunter mentioned. I was happy about that. He showed up. I was like, Kiwanote's in here. I can't believe it. I thought they forgot he existed. They'd never mention him again.
There's a ton of fucking Easter eggs and more characters than I can count that I'd never even knew about.
Yeah.
Like that, he definitely did his research. I'm not taking away any of his flowers for that.
You said Scalp Hunter, and I was like, oh, they decided to stop calling him Grey Crow again.
Talking about DC Comics.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, no.
Caleb says, what about Kevin Feige and female leads? Do you think that's true? Because I heard the ballerina movie and lastly, Riri deserves to die. I haven't seen the ballerina movie. I've only watched parts of Riri, but she's definitely a villain. I don't know if she deserves to die. Like, I don't think Hans Gruber needed to die. He just needed to go to jail.
Wait a
Hans
second.
Gruber needed to die.
No,
That was terrorism.
What does Feige have to do with the ballerina movie?
well, that he's ruined female leads, and because the MCU was so influential under Kevin Feige's lead, that we're getting terrible female leads like across the board, where they're all portrayed more as villains than even heroes. They just act like they don't see it.
I don't think that has anything to do with Kevin Feige. I think Kevin Feige
That's not how ballerina is at all either, though.
Okay, I have no idea because I didn't see the movie. Obviously,
I watched it. It's like if you want a good story, don't go watch it, but there's fun action in it. But if it like
I had that experience with Mortal Kombat this weekend.
Yeah, that's I hate that original character they made for that movie. Besides that movie's fun. I hated that guy. But,
there's so many good deaths.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like it's fun action, and she's a John Wick like character where John Wick is the good guy in that world, but overall he's not really like a good guy. That's how she is. Like she's better than the people she's fighting, but she's not like a good Golden Heart hero or anything like that.
So do you think the MCU has ruined female-led movies?
No, I think it's just kind of modern writing has been like this for a while with how they approach female characters. I don't think it's an MCU specific thing that caused this.
No,
I'm with you.
No, it honestly, in my opinion, it kind of started on television.
Yeah.
And it's just gotten worse. It's like everybody grew up watching Buffy, learned all the wrong lessons on how to write female leads, and that's what we have across. It started on television with people trying to be Joss Whedon, and then
Joss Whedon ruined everything, not Kevin Feige.
That's right. Joss Whedon's to blame for everything. All men should rise up against Joss Whedon.
Well, so should women. If you
this
believe
motherfucker ruined it for us all. You understand?
Not only that, but he has to stick his goddamn foot fetish bullshit and everything.
That's what I'm saying, man. Keep it quiet.
Tarantino too.
Can you imagine if he wrote Ripley?
Tarantino and everything.
Never would have got an Alien franchise. Let's get into some of these topics. We had a very interesting Middle World podcast where he's talking to Phil Boyle from Coliseum of Comics, John Robinson, co-owner, I believe, of Graham Crackers. And they were talking about how comic sales are definitely going up. They're seeing a noticeable turnaround led by DC Comics, which is being led by the Absolute Universe. This actually falls in line with some reports that were out earlier in the year, kind of talking about turnarounds at shops that they're seeing increased sales. And it looks like there might be a little bit of staying power to this. And thankfully, we do have comic book retailer Yul Carter here to talk about this. Is this what you're experiencing? Is this what other retailer kind of talking about, and how is this all working out? Is DC really going to lead the way in the comic book industry?
Well, I mean, they're just kind of doing what Marvel did before them, right? So I don't know about leading, but maybe like taking the lead. I doubt it. Marvel will never not publish enough comics to make more money than DC. So if we're just looking at total dollars, it's always going to be Marvel. Unless something crazy happens, but there's been plenty of times in the past when I think that should have happened. So it's not. Spider-Man's still going to sell books. The X-Men's still going to sell books. They're still going to make a Captain America and Avengers and all this other stuff, even though people will be bitching about it. Lots of mini-series, lots of canceled series, lots of restarted series. It just seems to be the way at Marvel. It's working for them, I guess. DC, I'm seeing a whole lot more sales as far as those Absolute books are concerned, even though I have two that aren't doing as well, Absolute Flash and I can't remember what the other one is.
Green Lantern?
Yes, the GL, yeah. But the other, Manhunter's doing great. In fact, Ultimates does really well for me also. What I've found is that when someone reads something, and what usually happens is a lot of people kind of save things up and then they binge it and they say, damn, I need more. Oh, I've got all these Batmans. I'll go try some of these other titles. I don't see it out on the other DC comics, but those people are going to they're going to be forced to do it eventually when there's the crossover, you know? So something's, pardon me?
I was going to say, I think that is the thing that DC needs. They need.
So we'll see what happens then.
Yeah.
That's when I think we should really start paying attention. The 3 months after the crossover either starts or ends.
Yes, that,
you know,
because DC needs to, really what they need to do is they need to kind of copy what Marvel did on the Ultimate Universe the first time around, which was, they kept it rather small. I still think that they've probably expanded it a little too much. And especially that they're going to expand it more. But regardless, I think that they can still, I don't think that that's going to be a major problem. But then they need to maintain consistency and strength long enough to convert those readers into regular readers, like the people that are trying Absolute for the first time, or coming to DC and trying, even if they were Marvel readers before, and they just didn't read DC. This was kind of their entry point in, and then whenever they do the crossover, if they can then transition those readers, because we all know Absolute has a shelf life. Same reason, same way that Ultimate did.
Exactly.
It can't work forever.
Right. Or now I'm kind of acing Dylan out a little bit. Let me ask you a question, Doc. And the other old guys here. Remember when Ultimates first came out way back when, and there was a lot of people that were fearful that this was going to overtake the Marvel 616 universe.
Well, yeah, there was talk that it may replace it.
It would replace it, which would give you that whole answer about Mary Jane and Spider-Man. You wouldn't even have a problem with it anymore. And you would have gotten past it, and it would just be Ultimate Spider-Man. Right?
But they managed to create fans of characters and fans of creators. And then those creators start jumping back over. I mean, even though most of them have already done work in the mainline DC universe, they didn't have a following. And additionally, you didn't have those Marvel or new readers that are willing to then make the jump over. They have to transition those readers into the main DC books, because we know that they're not going to actually replace the DC lineup.
Why not? Just do it. The Silver Age did it. Why not do it right now? Rip the Band-Aid off. Just do it. Aquaman ain't selling that great.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Aquaman ain't selling that great. Green Lantern ain't selling that great.
I have a
Absolute
question.
Green Lantern's better,
Do you still have an audience, a sustainable audience, for an absolute Superman that's not Superman, an absolute Batman that's not Batman? I mean, if you don't have them as a juxtaposition to the real one, if that's the only option for Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, because that's what you're talking about, is there still that same level of hype, or do they create so much negative resentment that they do the DC thing and shoot themselves straight in the dick when they have an opportunity to take over the market?
So I would suggest that this is just fool's gold. It's nice while it lasts, and it can only last so long. You said that already, Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. They have to.
So saving comic shops. Creators. The thing about comic shops, though, there was Pogs, Magic cards. Now something, there was Funk Pops. Some specialized in statues or bongs or whatever the hell it is. It's not always comics. And then something happens. Again, going back to Jim Shooter, what did I really learn? There was a time in the 70s when comics were dying. We got to get these Hollywood jobs, the writer said. We got to go get our advertising gigs, the artist said. And then comics didn't die. And almost immediately, it was awesome again. And Byrne and Stern and Chaykin and Miller and, You know, all these people were doing stuff, and then the independents were good, and then you had Titans in the 80s, and it was just like really super hot for a while there. And then it wasn't, and then it was, and then it wasn't, and you know, this is hot right now. We'll see. Wait till the
Dylan and some other people have mentioned is, you know, talking to the retailers, is it's spiked in interest in back issues, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's gotten more people in to actually go and check out back issues because people are excited about comics again. At least that's what
All right,
that's what
awesome.
I've been hearing.
I sold a bunch of Fantastic Four yesterday, but you know, I can't really claim that's because of anything that Marvel's doing outside of the movie, you know. I don't know, back issues is always an iffy thing. I mostly am new stuff and collections, but I have good days on the back issues, and I'm really happy. I love it when I get customers that are, I mean, my customer base has bought a lot of the back issues also. So getting someone new into those, it takes a while, you know, but I got them for you. Got your
Are
flash.
you finding people, you know, discovering Absolute Batman and going, hey, this Bane character is interesting. Maybe I should go check out this Chuck Dixon Batman
No,
stuff?
not really.
It's not transferring?
Not yet. Anybody that's only buying Absolute stuff is only buying Absolute stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they came in for that, that's what they're buying. And maybe they're just keeping it simple because they're like old collectors. I have no idea, you know, but when someone new comes in and they're specifically buying that, it doesn't, maybe they'll like, oh, you know, I like Poison Ivy. I'll go get a Poison Ivy comic. You know, it can happen, you know.
Are they noticeably younger
than me?
No, I mean, are they teenagers? Or are these guys in their early 20s?
No, I have some college kids that are coming in buying, and one guy buys everything DC also for the most part, like any of the big titles.
So he's a whale.
No, nothing like that. It's not like crazy.
More
He's
like a
not buying
dolphin.
He's not buying Sonic DC or anything like that. You know, that's when you got a good one.
I'm sorry, Sparrow. I interrupted you there. I didn't even realize you came back. What's up, dude?
Oh, no, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, no, glad to be here. I don't know. Like you guys asked the same question I was going to ask of Buell is, are they noticeably younger? Because, you know, I'm hearing, you know, that, TikTok has all these young people excited about comics, but every single shop owner that I know is saying like, yeah, the increase that we've had in books is primarily DC. But it's primarily existing customers or a few lapsed customers that have come back. It's still the same crowd. So I don't think that we should be like rejoicing that comics is saved and that comics are good again just yet, because if we're only drawing in the same crowd, comics aren't growing. It's still a matter of growth. Comics still needs to expand out to new readers. New people have to discover it. The people that are coming into your shop and are just buying the Absolute titles, DC needs to find some way to motivate them to try something else. You know, honestly, that's the retailer's job too, is when people come in.
Yeah, I was
like,
going to say, I'm supposed to do the add-on sale and stuff also. But
yeah,
you got to
be
like absolute
the person also. You know, not everybody is a person that you want to just heap $40 of merchandise on top of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And you
gotta read the person.
I know you know your stuff. I know you know who to get into the surf and turf. But
Exactly.
you know what do we got to do, sir? Get you in the surf and turf today. But go ahead, Doc.
I am also wondering, and I know it's kind of, it might be marginally disconnected, but with the economy improving in a lot of ways, where wages are starting to outpace inflation, people that might have not been working before are starting to work. I'm wondering.
I don't know, Doc. I saw Jimmy Palmiotti yesterday say that everything is more expensive than ever.
Oh yeah,
well, that's definitely true.
It is true, but it's a question of,
isn't it always that way?
Yeah, it's prices. Inflation is by its nature going to make things more expensive than they've ever been. I mean, except for televisions. These
companies don't charge less later on.
I know.
No, nobody ever cuts. Nobody ever cuts their rate, right? Nobody ever goes, "Oh, hey."
The only time you
Whoa.
see that is with new technology.
Sure.
Over time, it becomes more affordable for the average person because of adoption. But regardless, ignoring that
show.
part of it, there is the possibility that a lot of these, some of these readers that are coming back in are people that have more disposable income these days. They're making a little more money, and they either partially stop because they're lapsed readers that stopped as a combination of, well, money's tight, the economy sucks, and these comics suck, so I'm willing to give it up. And now they're willing to try stuff that maybe sucks marginally less or the same amount, but because they have more money again, they're no longer making a choice between money and gas, or comics and gas. They're able.
That's
They
a
just
good
have
thing
more
you got something
disposable
hot
income.
from DC. It was good timing on their part, thankfully.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen gas come down everywhere except in like my state
And Pennsylvania.
It's
Well,
not
some
and
like
Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Some of those Marvel
expensive
comics,
right now.
some of those Marvel comics, you could do double duty as diapers for the babies.
Yeah.
Those are expensive diapers.
Anything written
See,
by Cody Ziegler, anything written by Stephanie, one of the
that's
generic
Marvel's.
Stephanies.
That's Marvel's next big move is just start printing the comics on the diapers.
Ooh.
Are you noticing that Yule, that there's still just not a lot of excitement from Marvel? It's like I'm finding it very difficult to get excited about anything from Marvel. I like Aliens vs. Avengers, but it was a 4-issue miniseries. I like Hellhunters. It was a 5-issue miniseries.
I
don't have anything
feel
sustained right now.
that only because of its length, compare 4-month head start or more than the Absolute series, the same is going on for the Ultimate the line right now. Not every single one. I would suggest that Ultimate X-Men is the one that doesn't feel like it really belongs, but it still has its readers. But I'm selling to anybody that buys Spider-Man. They're probably, or I should say, everybody buys Spider-Man. And then there's a lot of Ultimates, and then the Black Panther feels a little bit more connected. And then I did really well on the very first Spider-Man mini series that started up. What Camp is writing that also.
Encouraging.
And I'm like, this is kind of doing this whole connecty thing, and I didn't really read it, but it's got Miles. And I sell more of that than I do Miles Morales, that's for sure. And, so there's, I think, the Ultimate thing. It's maybe not got the buzz that it had, but people are really enjoying that still.
Well, that's because it's Dennis Camp.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is, not unlike the Batman, people read all of the Spider-Mans and then they're like, oh, damn, I want something else. And then they pick the characters that they want. Or I say, if you want to be invested more in the universe, if you didn't read Ultimate Invasion, here's this comic book, this collection over here. And if you like this, maybe you should check out Ultimates. If they like Ultimates, then it's easy to put them onto that mini series. And again, 4 months goes by, we'll see where people are talking about Absolute. I know they're not talking about Aquaman, and they should,
They should
but
be. It's a good book.
there's always good books out there that people aren't talking. There's something that you like that nobody else does.
Yep.
That's just the way it is.
I loved Hawkman, and it never really
that
was an
was
enormous
really good.
seller.
Hawkman, the last few times were really good. Jeff Johns one, that Venditti. Venditti's great. Where is that guy? What's he doing right now?
He's doing stuff with Bad Idea, I believe.
Oh, Jesus. So he's not doing anything?
Cares. No one cares about Bad Idea. No one talks about
Planet Death is coming out through Lunar. Now that
he's
they've
co-writer of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's the thing that's coming out.
So what did you think about the news that Scott Snyder said, hey, we're contracted for 24 issues or 2 years on Absolute Batman, but I'm already plotted out to issue 32, making it seem like it's got some longevity to it. Got some years at least. That's pretty good news.
For sure. I think I continue, or I think this should continue to be the best-selling DC comic that I have in the store, barring a first issue or a miniseries event. And even then, it should probably still be the best-selling thing I have in the store for DC.
I think this incarnation of Absolute, I think it has a minimum 5-year shelf life. I don't think it has the kind of 15-year shelf life that Ultimate did. But remember, even that at about 9 years needed rebooted into Ultimate Comics.
Mm-hmm.
And
then they killed people.
Yeah, and then they started, I guess you'd say probably about 9 years in, they needed to do Ultimatum, and then they kept doing it. They kept doing Ultimate Marvel for a little while longer, and then they rebooted it with Ultimate Comics, and then it went back to Ultimate Marvel, and then it just ended and got absorbed into the 616 at Secret Wars.
I tell you what people are hot for in my store, at least 3 or 5 of us.
Battle Beast?
No, the Legion of Superheroes, man. I can't wait. Give me some Legion characters.
You're liking the
care if
Dark
they're
Legion
bad.
stuff that's showing up in Superman?
Yeah. Oh,
It's cool,
I'm
isn't
loving
it?
Superman. I am.
Superman's been really good.
Damn, those last 3 issues have been so good, even with the inferior artwork.
I love Eddie Barrows, but
He's all right. I mean, he's good.
most of his characters had Joker face in that last issue. It was a little unsettling.
Yeah, eyes too far apart. Things are looking. I really like Eddie Barrows too, but for some reason, his latest Superman work has been less than stellar.
I mean, he might be rushing. I know there's another artist on that also, so who knows? Is Dan Mora going to leave DC? Is that what's going on?
That's the big question. He says he's going to continue with DC. He's just absorbing the Transformers work into it. I don't know that he can continue on with 3 ongoing books for 4 months. He's doing Justice League Unlimited and Superman. But he says in 2026 he's going to do 1 main book at DC and concentrate on it. Oh. I hope that it's Superman.
Yeah, because if you do Justice League, it's hard to do a lot of characters all the time.
I hope they gave him enough of a raise that he doesn't have to do 3 books a month.
Yeah, I also hope he's not just stuck with Mark Waid for 2026. That'd make me sad.
Because he's getting paid by Kirkman that he's willing to go away from DC. He's probably already got stuff done the way that Kirkman usually works.
Wait,
I was pretty hey, what's going to go on here?
Transformers, dude.
Daniel Warren Johnson goes off the book. And all of a sudden, it's like Kirkman and fucking Dan Moore. That's an upgrade to me. But apparently, it's only for 1 story arc. I'm assuming Kirkman stays on, but a new artist comes in after 4 issues.
All right.
Huh. But I hope that Kirkman sticks on. If he only does 4 issues and then there's another writer, that would be very disappointing.
I couldn't think of anybody other than Kirkman to put on that freaking book. I mean, other than Johnson to put on that book. Or, you know what I mean? To fill in.
Daniel Warren Johnson or Robert Kirkman?
Yeah. I think Kirkman's the only guy. I couldn't even imagine, unless you found out Venditti was a super big Transformers guy, then that'd be all right.
That'd be cool.
But not a name like Kirkman.
No, not at all.
I mean, who's the writer that you would oh my God, this is everybody. Oh my God, this writer's coming on Transformers. I can't think of anybody.
Besides me?
Mark Miller?
Well, Aaron, I'm thinking of not having to advertise.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
Is Energon still hot for you? Are people still going in there?
Transformers is still a really good book, and Void Rivals is picked up, so that's another reason why I was thinking Kirkman would be probably the best person to do it. I don't think it's going to sell as well though as Daniel Warren Johnson. Truth be told.
You don't think Kirkman's the bigger draw of the two?
It also doesn't have the hype of a relaunched #1 behind it. I think it'll do well. I think you'll see a bump, but I don't think
I think we're going to see 25 what will be the brand new #1. I expect some good gimmickry on.
Do you like them not rebooting it back to a #1 with the new creative team?
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah,
I think it's way smart.
I'm an old guy. I have to like it the old way.
Well,
how's G.I. Joe doing? Are people buying that one too?
Which one?
G.I. Joe from Williamson.
Yeah, we're doing good on that too. It's not behind the counter where all my bestsellers are, but it's and a Real American Hero is doing really well also.
Yeah.
Like this whole Energon line has really, I mean, I think it revitalized Larry Hama's care to write a good story.
I think
so
they've
too.
got
Definitely.
they've got a real good pacing thing that's never happened in those Real American Heroes before, and I can forgive like all those IDW years now and all that stuff.
Because Dylan, he loves G.I. Joe, but he stopped reading Real American Hero during the IDW stuff. And we were telling him how good Skybound is, so he's picked up the trades. It does
Yeah.
read like a different writer.
Yeah, it's so much better. The end of the IDW age was awful. It was terrible, but it's way better right now with Skybound.
Well, I think that when you get your pages coming in and you're once again paired with a good artist, like IDW had a mild upswing with it seemed like Larry's interest when David Hedgecock, who's been on the show, put Netho Diaz on the book. He looked at it and he was like, SL Gallant is not cutting it. And he put Netho Diaz on the book. And that seemed to kind of like revitalize Larry. So it's almost like, as a writer, you're actually motivated when you have good pages coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, as IDW continued its decline and David left and G.I. Joe fell into the hands of somebody else, it was right back to Gallant to finish off that run. And nobody cared. So, why would Larry? It's just like he was collecting the check at that point. But I'm glad to see that like he's excited again.
Aaron, how often do you restructure your story for the artist, or do you stick with your story, or is it always changing?
You mean when do I try to pair my story to like an artist's strengths, or do I change it on the fly?
I don't know. Yeah, I think is there some changing things on the fly for the artist? You're like, oh man, I didn't know they could do this. Well, why don't we do this instead, or anything like that?
Yeah, if they turn in something that like is really like, I'll restructure lettering all the time or dialogue. If
sure.
As you learn to work with an artist, you start to figure out what their strengths are, and you start to figure out where you don't have to have as much dialogue to kind of sell what's going on. If they sell it in the art, like I always do a lettering draft on every script where I go back through and I like pair things out. And then even once the letters come in and I see how the balloons are placed and like if they're covering too much art, because it was a little bit more than we thought it was going to be in the panel, or the artist drew a little more, I'll trim it so that you always show off more of the art, because the art, to me, even as a writer, the art is the selling point of the book. That's the most important thing. So show off as much of it as you can. So yeah, I adapt all the time depending on the person that I'm working with.
If you're like, wow, this guy is really good with splash pages with lots of blood, maybe I should throw a really bloody scene in here.
Oh yeah, I mean, now that after the first issue, and there's one gory scene in the first issue of Kneel Before Doomface. Once I learned how Renzo can sell that, I was like, well, we're gonna have more of that, definitely. That he turns in pages and it's a very it's like kind of a transitional scene where like not the most exciting thing is happening, but still the character acting is fantastic and the ladies are sexy, and you're like, well, we added more characters to Doomface 2, characters that were going to come into 3. I moved them up into 2 because Renzo's so good at drawing sexy ladies and he's so entertained by it that I was like, well, I need to take care of my artist, need to get him some sexy ladies in this book. And I need to take care of the fans and get them some sexy ladies in the book.
Absolutely. So the other thing that came out in that big conversation as being a bit of a game changer was like the DC Compact Comics. Marvel's come back with their Marvel Premier Collection, which is a little bit bigger, but smaller, but $5 more expensive. We are seeing these DC Compact Comics showing up in like the top 20 graphic novel sales list that's inclusive of everything, and in charting with manga, which hadn't happened in like half a decade at this point. And they were saying that they were having a difficult time keeping the compact comics stocked. Is that something else that you've noticed?
Well, I mean, some of them are out of print, so that'd be the first part. Mm-hmm. So yes, I am not the best graphic novel selling store anymore like I used to be.
Because your original store was almost more graphic novels than even floppies. We
were right next to a BART station. So people let out and then they're like, cross the street, there's my store, that type of thing. That heavy visitor foot traffic, and the college was right close by also. Now I'm about 10 minutes away from there in a much smaller space, but I still sell trades. I feel like the Marvel ones are better selections for stories, but I see that DC's trying to do DC's better books are the DC finest, but those are like 40 or 50 bucks. But like, I don't really care about Deceased. It means nothing to me. In fact, they're doing all these books that are basically not in continuity.
Well, yeah, like American Vampire.
Yeah, so
like,
really, this is what you're leading with, but if it's doing well for people, good. I mean, but I think Born Again and the Hickman Fantastic Four and Brubaker Captain America Kills Anything they're putting out except for the All-Star Superman, and even that's not a continuity book.
Better than Watchmen?
I'm tired. I don't need a $10 version of that.
Everybody's got multiple copies.
I love Watchmen. I saw somebody overrated in the comments and talked about all the time. I agree, but I don't know if it's overrated.
It's only overrated to me in the fact that people say it's like the best comic book story of all time. I recognize it's an amazing.
Used to be
one of the best. I just don't think it's the number.
It used to be you read a lot of comics and then you read superhero books and then you read Watchmen.
Graduated.
You now people, well, what is the best list? Well, I'm going to go read those. You don't do that. You don't do that. It's like reading the 2 issues of Gwen Stacy dying, It's like, well, plus you got nothing to lead up to it. You didn't.
Almost all modern writers are influenced by Alan Moore specifically and Watchmen. Yeah. And The Dark Knight Returns. So if you're reading a lot of modern comics and then you go back to a Watchmen, it's not going to feel all that different.
I can name 3 better stories than Watchmen, but so that's a 12-issue series also. So
yeah, I think.
When you get to Blood, when you find out Dr. Manhattan's story, holy cow, that's a great issue. When there's the prison scene with Rorschach. Yeah. That's a great issue. At the party, did the Sopranos steal that? Where they're like talking about their crazy clientele and they're all at a dinner party and stuff like that, and good stuff. But I think there's better issues.
I think DC, with their Absolute Universe being so hot and obviously making a big impact not only in comic shops but specifically in bookstores with their compact comics, when they do the trades for all their Absolute books, they should release all the trades in compact format for that line on day one. They've already solicited for them. They're not going to do it, but I think they are leaving money on the table and they would make a bigger impact if they release those like that.
Possibly. I don't think there's any reason not to do it, but it's probably, other than Warner Brothers is still a publishing company and they have the things that they like to do. And same day hardcover, softcover, DC doesn't do that, and they are doing that. so
you prefer the Marvel version bigger, even though it's a little bit bigger than the manga, standard format.
I prefer what they're choosing is what I prefer. I think they have not missed on any of the ones, but Gotham City Sirens, really, I love the artwork. Beautiful stuff. Don't care.
Well, they went twice as big with their line when they're like Marvel starts out with 4, DC's gone with 8. You got Court of Owls, you got Batman Hush, All Star, Superman, Watchmen. They definitely threw out some classics with them.
They do. I sold a lot of those classics in my life. You didn't have anything else?
So you don't like Deceased at all?
No, I don't care. It's what if alternate universes. I don't care about any of that stuff.
Well, that's what the Absolute Batman is.
I'm sorry, I don't care.
Oh, I thought you loved Absolute Batman.
No, I don't care. I love it. This is Batman title.
This is Wes's shtick. He will assign you something that you like, and you're like, I never said that.
I hate
and Batman. He will harp on it.
Well, I know that you gave up Batman for a year. I thought you came back for Absolute Batman.
Telling me you want something different, and you just always go back to Batman all the time. What's wrong with you people? I get a customer come in, they're like, oh, I'd like to show me something I haven't seen in Batman. And they always take Dark Knight Returns anyway, or Year One. It's like, stop it. Stop buying that. There's something else.
Year One's the best Batman story ever told.
It's really
probably.
good. Just joking. I do hate Batman, though, yes. Not Adam West. He's great.
So do you just hate the fact that there's too much Batman? Do you hate the character and the concept?
No, I've read plenty of Batman in life, and I like, stories and stuff like that. Dude, I've read when the earthquake
I can understand
happened,
someone hating Iron Man. I just can't understand anybody
I don't like
hating
Iron
Batman.
Man either.
I'll give you a
I don't
couple
like Iron
reasons
Man
to
either.
hate Batman. The
Yeah,
Bat
give me a
family.
couple.
Yeah, the Bat family.
Are you
It's not
kidding
really
me?
Batman's fault.
Batgirl's great.
Contingency Man is boring.
Yeah, that's true.
This idea that Batman always has a plan for everything if given enough time to prepare, it doesn't make your hero exciting. He's Invincible Man. It's like
Plenty of not contingency Batman stories.
Oh, just give him a week and he could kill anybody.
Here's the thing. Everyone can do anything if they have enough time to prepare.
Sure.
It doesn't make him interesting.
Well, any character in a story can do that because you can just write it to be that way. That's the thing. Like I'm like, give me something.
5 months later,
when I got into Batman, he was suffering some pretty big losses. He didn't always have the answers, and he had to figure it out. And that was the interesting part, is when your hero has to figure things out on the fly, not when your hero is like, well, I planned for this 5 months ago because I just
analyzed this
in case this happened. Like, okay, Contingency Man, why didn't you? And I know this came after the whole Contingency Man thing came after these better stories, but it's like, why didn't you have a plan for a roided up jock showing up to break your back? Why didn't you have a plan for that? Where was your contingency? You didn't have the forethought for that? Come on. I like
it back when Batman would see a piece of soil and he would automatically know they're at the docks. There's only one place where play like this is.
I was always the best in a story, right? There's only one newspaper. I think there's a moment like that in that stupid Hobbs and Shaw movie where it's like, oh, he's reading a newspaper that's only sold in one newsstand in London, and I know exactly, I know that information, and I know exactly where that newsstand is. And then they go, and fortunately, they show up at the same time that guy's there buying his newspaper.
That's super fucking convenient.
It really is. It's called We Didn't Know How to Transition This Scene. So it's like when a character would turn on the radio, like, you're listening to K-Plot Radio, news that's relevant to you at the exact moment you turn on the dial.
So Dylan, you're more of a Superman fan, but can you believe this Batman outrage to say they hate the character?
I don't know how you can hate Batman, but I do get I love Batman. He's got the best comics out right now. He has like 4 good books out right now.
Batman and Robin, Batman Dark Patterns.
Yeah.
I'd rather read Superman than any of those right now.
That's the thing. I'm a Superman fan, but I think the Batman books are better than Superman right now. Cool. I think Williamson's like his top right now is like a 7 out of 10 for Superman. I feel like he hasn't done too great.
25 was like a 10 out of 10. I thought that was a great issue.
I thought XL was retarded, and I'm not the biggest fan of how he's handled Lex. But it wasn't a bad issue.
Give me more Lex.
I love Lex. I don't like Williamson's Lex. I don't think he has a good handle.
I didn't like Simple Lex.
I don't think he's done a good job with it. But I think Batman has some great books right now, even though I much prefer Superman as a character. I just think Batman has better books. But I do get the oversaturation of Batman. I remember they're talking about expanding. They're like, oh, we're going to do all these Elseworlds titles. They announced like 10 Elseworlds titles, and like 8 of them were Batman.
I still haven't gotten Batman the Barbarian.
Oh, yeah.
Big Smallwood.
That
was actually solicited at one point.
Yeah. Isn't that coming soon? I could have sworn I saw
I haven't ordered it yet.
Yeah. They solicited it like 6 or 7 months ago.
Here, let me look.
And then it never, they removed it and it's never come back. So,
I wonder if his piss core tweets are coming back to haunt him.
I definitely did not expect the Batman hate on this podcast or this.
It's not.
I said that I love Batman. I just said that there are reasons to get disenfranchised with Batman. And
Can you really love something if you know why everyone hates it so much, Aaron?
Yeah, absolutely. It's called nuance. It's called knowing the audience. You have to be able to do that. That's something that comics has lost, is the ability for people to say, just because I like this doesn't mean I can't comprehend why some people are unhappy. And if enough people are unhappy, then what you have to do is you have to pivot to the things that make your customer base happy. Comics has forgotten that. They have this attitude of, oh, I'll tell the reader what they want because they don't know what they want. I mean, the reader may not be able to articulate exactly what, not every reader can articulate exactly what they want, but they know it when they see it, and they can give you a general impression of what they like. And then your job is to give them that and try to do it in an unexpected way so that you keep them guessing. But at the end of the day, they know what a satisfying story is to them. They know when a character feels like a character. They know when you have broken the character for an agenda or for, some other story that you want to write that doesn't fit this character, but you really want to write that story. So now you're going to bend that character around the story that you want to tell. You shouldn't say, how can I tell my story with Batman? You should say, what kind of cool Batman stories can I tell?
So Amazon has Batman the Barbarian listed as coming out in November.
Really? Because I'm looking at DC's Lunar, and it's 1/1/1900 in-store date.
Yeah.
So there you go. I don't know if it's 1900, but
Okay, so when do you get to order the time platform?
the time machine.
Let's
That's
hear from
what
the
happens
people.
when things
The
are
cosmic treadmill.
No,
Y'all,
Wes,
maybe call Callum Gollum, guys.
Oh, well, yeah, Gollum Lyle. No, I just want to say that Rolling Dodge has a great point and I know that they retconned this, but he said if Batman is contingency man, how is Damian born?
Yeah.
Because
He didn't
He was
have a
sexually
contingency
assaulted,
for
right?
being sexually assaulted. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the one contingency you never thought of.
Yeah, she like roofied him or something. I believe is what happened.
Which is dumb.
And they retconned that.
Just say that Batman had sex.
Gallum says
He got caught in the moment.
Goro should have lasted longer in that movie. He's talking about the
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat film, the more updated one. And I agree. Goro looked really good, and he should have lasted longer. And
He
I'm
shouldn't
not
have
saying
lost to some
that's a
bum.
great movie. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it was entertaining and fun because the fights were good.
Sure, there's entertaining moments in it. It's just a bad story with a bad lead character that you don't care about.
Yeah, the fact they chose
I
that
wanted
guy
Goro
for-
to kill Cole and kill his whole family. I was like, just kill every one of these characters.
I can't believe you remember his name.
Oh yeah, well, I just you know why I remember it? I remember it because I have watched the Ryan George. I hate it so much. I've watched the Ryan George pitch meeting multiple times, and he keeps going like, what do they call that when they get their power? Wes, what is it called in the movie?
The Kuna or something stupid.
Yeah, they're Hakuna Matata or whatever. When he says, so yeah, Hakuna Matata, he gets his Hakuna, and he's like, oh, is it something really cool? It's like, no, it's just basically Cole, but in a different sweater.
I'm not saying it's the world's greatest film, but as a Mortal Kombat video game adaptation, it's perfectly fine.
You cannot compare any performance in that movie to even the cheesy one from the 90s.
Honestly, I thought that that was better than the cheesy one from the 90s. But I still think they all could pale in comparison to the YouTube short series that they did like 15 years ago. Like 2 seasons of it.
But I thought it was perfectly fine. It's not great, but it's entertaining. You get the one Kung Lao like fatality that was amazing. He rips her through the hat
the fatalities. Fatalities are fantastic, but like when you make Sonya exposition lady, she's just there to explain the movie to everybody and to you. You get charisma-less Shang Tsung after back in the 90s having Kerry Takawa just chewing the scenery. Everybody still says lines from Mortal Kombat like Kerry Takawa. That's how impactful that performance was. And then you have the lead Robin Shou in the original, much more charismatic lead than Louis Tan could ever be. Louis Tan is like Sam Worthington. He's just there. He has zero charisma, zero aura. The fact that they made him a leading man in anything is just unbelievable. He didn't even have aura in his brief little appearances as Shatterstar in the Deadpool movies. He's awful.
Riz.
Yeah.
No Riz.
No, wasn't he like campaigning to be Iron Fist? I feel like I remember him campaigning to be Iron Fist.
I think it was something like that. He was definitely campaigning to be somebody. Because, it worked for Simu Liu. All he had to do was put out a tweet. Hey, Kevin Feige, how about making me Shang-Chi? And so we got boring Shang-Chi, can't emote with his face.
Next up, we got HH from Sigma Comics. Shout out to the Think Critical team from Fan Expo Denver. Very nice. Support your favorite comic channel, the best in the biz. Hit like, subscribe, and get Calico on our site. absolutely do that. If you're in the Denver area, go see HH and the folks at Sigma Comics at their booth. That'd be fun. Denver's a cool city. I wouldn't want to live there, but it's a good city.
I'm plotting a little something for next summer with HH. See, for the
You guys like going to get married?
Pretty
or
fun.
something?
It's comics related, Wes. Yes, we're getting married. We're getting married in the comics. The big wedding issue.
No, they're going to go explore the underground of the Denver airport.
Maybe I wouldn't want to go underneath there.
Matching tattoos.
HH is a great guy. I love meeting him in Dallas. Hope he's having a great time in Denver. Rate X7. FYI, DC doesn't own Milestone.
They must have figured out something to be able to do this.
I
Yeah.
feel like I remember hearing a story about a year ago about an agreement they made with Dwayne McDuffie's wife.
Dude, she's like the Martha Hart. You know what I mean?
She's not happy.
I feel like that there was something in there, but I don't recall exactly what it was. But it basically gave them the ability to do.
It's like they don't own the Watchmen. If it goes out of print, it goes back, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Reverts the rights or something.
Yeah, if it goes out of print for 12 months or something like that, then Alan Moore gets it back.
We must have something like that with Milestone.
I feel like, because remember they did that Milestone thing with like the power company and what was the one?
Yeah.
And that 40-year-old
They're doing those milestone compendiums. There's like 4 of those right now.
That 40-year-old black chick that dresses like a 1980s rapper. The one that was in the X-Men office.
Oh, you mean
Vita Ayala. She did a book for like the weird Milestone.
Yeah, she did Static.
Yeah, like a year ago or a year and a half ago.
Like
It
3
was
years ago.
right before. Was it that long ago?
Yeah, I mean they just did the power company a few weeks ago, but they obviously own something with the distribution or something because they're putting it in their universe, and there must be some type of agreement out there. But they just did the power company like 4 months ago. It was awful. Very, very bad. Jeff Stout, Morning Gang on Twitter. We are starting to see comic displays $3.99 cost in the wild. Makes me miss spinner racks. You think Marvel will follow DC's lead?
Yeah, we've been seeing those. I guess I'm gonna check Sheets today. Supposedly, they've been spotted in Sheets as well. They're in Casey's, I guess, out in the Midwest.
We have Casey's where I'm from, yes.
Yeah, and supposedly they're in Sheets as well.
They're in Cumberland Farms, I think, too.
Okay, so now whether or not they continue these, now a lot of it does look like old product.
It's definitely old inventory.
Yeah.
Let's see, New 52 stuff in there. I'm seeing some absolute power stuff, so I guess that's more recent, but
Yeah.
it's not like new books.
Yeah, so it seems like it's a smattering, almost like and they're bagged.
The thing is, though, if Marvel follows their lead, the books will be twice as big, and they'll be $8.99 or something like that.
Yeah,
a lot more expensive.
And if they're current Marvel product, they'll just kill the whole thing because anybody who picks one up will be like, "Oh, no, thanks. Don't need to continue this
Put
hobby."
Moon Knight in there. But
Moon
Marvel
Knight-
does it; it'll be more expensive and worse. Somehow.
Moon Knight, the Spider-Man Wolverine book that's currently being published, Daredevil Cold Day in Hell, and PKG's Hulk. That'll be the whole rack.
But I think if
And
it's
Weapon
successful,
X-Men.
you'll likely see them follow their lead because
Oh, yeah.
the compact comics were successful, and Marvel now has a compact line to compete with it. So be good. Maybe.
Marvel will do it by hiding them in the bathroom.
Perhaps.
No, Marvel.
What's
it'll
the?
just be Tom Brevoort will
sorry.
tell you that there's already Marvel product in these places. It's just disguised as regular items because really it's the function of the item that sells, not really the characters.
Yes, because there's absolutely no difference between a Marvel comic book and a Snickers.
A Marvel comic book and a roll of toilet paper. Well, actually, that's probably true right now.
You can't flush that down the toilet. That'd be horrible.
I mean, remember when they were
You're
making
right.
the covers out of the tissue paper that you probably
you could do it with those, though. Yes, yes.
I'm
Those would
currently
be okay.
I'm currently, while we talk, reading
Pooping.
cable loving Chrome, and I'm sitting here thinking about trying to wipe my ass with these pages, and it does not sound fun.
Yeah.
Cable Love and Chrome is a good book. Why would you wipe your ass with it?
No, I'm
Yeah,
just
that's
thinking
your
about
read.
from the paper quality.
Oh.
Just
It
about
would be,
whether or not wiping my
unpleasant.
ass with this paper quality would be good. And I feel like it would hurt. And also not clean very well.
Well, necessity's the mother of invention, Doc. You just gotta crumple it a few times. It'll get softer.
You just
Oh, I
turn
want
it
to
into
answer
three
that super
seashells.
chat.
What?
There's a
The
super
last one?
chat. Yeah, I want to answer that.
All right. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure. If you guys want to save comics, you need to court the TikTok crowd and private thousands of videos on your channel. Richard Meyer has figured it out.
Then let it die. That's what I say. Who cares if it's got to come to that? Thank you. That's it.
Well, I'm glad that, I guess he's going a new direction with his channel. I hope it works out for him.
If you got to go to TikTok to do anything, you might as well not do anything. I mean,
I had
give me
to
a
stop my
break.
kids from using TikTok because it was noticeably making them
Jesus,
dumber.
What is wrong with people? Get off TikTok for fuck's sake.
The only person that
Oh.
might be on TikTok in this panel is Dylan. You a TikToker?
I mean, sometimes I'll watch TikTok.
I will scroll through it. I've never posted anything.
Exactly. Like Doc. Yeah.
there you
Just
go.
scroll through it.
I rarely even comment on things.
I
see
don't think I've ever
YouTubers
commented
make
anything
content.
ever.
I'll
All I
watch
see
it
are
on
YouTubers
Instagram.
making
Almost
content.
like an adult.
Exactly.
Weeks later when
Weeks
it's already
later.
over.
Am I making a mistake not jumping on the TikToks?
I
If
mean,
you-
there's
it's
funny
too late
stuff on
now.
there.
It's too late now. Something that's new has already started. I mean,
As far as there being a comic audience on there, there are probably a handful of people that actually read comics, but as far as a large amount, no.
I've seen the ones like Aaron said on Instagram, and they'll suck. The comic book ones. It's like, I don't care about your blurry thing behind you and you holding up a comic. And
So you want me to take
Yeah.
over Instagram too?
I
I'll
don't
do it.
want to do any of it. I'm sick of
Don't
it.
threaten me with a good time here.
All I do is
you'll-
post comic book pictures on Instagram if I do it at all.
Wes, you're an old man. By the time you get on TikTok, they'll be like, "Oh, nobody does TikTok anymore. Now everybody's over on
Exactly.
Clip
That's my
Clop."
point.
And
That's
then you'll
my
move
point.
over to Clip Clop, and it'll be something else. It'll be like, "No, now you got to be on Fugu," and you're like, I can't keep up with all this."
And then it'll just be some other random word.
And then Vine will come back.
Yes.
Somebody will buy Vine and revive
But
that.
it'll just be called Box this time.
This is no offense to Garfield's Bizarre Adventure, by the way. You know,
Love that name.
It's great.
Retro Man, I think Godzilla vs. Thor was actually awesome. That's the type of book Aaron Cooter should be on.
Yeah.
100%
Sully and I
agree.
agree. Yeah. We
Mhm.
talked
I
about
like
this.
Aaron Cooter a lot.
Yeah,
Good
he's
book.
great.
He was pretty good
Yeah.
on Ghost Rider there for a minute, wasn't he?
Yeah, for a minute.
He was great on Action Comics with Greg Pak for a bit in New 52.
Yeah.
He did some
Greg
really-
Pak was great on Action Comics.
No, Aaron Cooter was. He was on there with
Dude.
Greg Pak.
Greg
No,
Pak hasn't been good in a while.
Greg Pak was good for a little bit on Action Comics until Truth happened. Until then, it was actually the best Superman book out, which wasn't saying much at the time, but it was still
Man,
like,
they ruined Superman.
yeah, it was good for like 8 issues or so. Like Greg Pak was actually doing a good Superman, and then Superman Truth happened, and it went torpedoed.
Man. Definitely go check out Godzilla vs. Thor. I'll probably be talking about it on Best of the Week. I still have to read it, but I've gotten enough word of
It's
mouth
great.
and buzz to make me think that I'm probably going to need to put that on the list when I record that with Drew later. Definitely check that one out. Calb says, I like Scorpion's Revenge because the voice acting was good and the death scene was awesome. And that's the problem, Sparrow. I tried to watch Scorpion's Revenge. It wasn't available on my Max.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're
I
the
can
one
only
who
get the
was like,
Sub-Zero
I'm gonna-
movie and the Johnny Cage.
I'm gonna
movie.
live in the Philippines where I can't get action figures and good steak. And, everything's a trade-off, Wes. Sorry.
Did you see what Sully was doing when you were bad mouthing me? He was like
No.
shaking his head back and forth like an idiot, like that was me acting like, I'm from the Philippines. You know what I mean? It was a double mock.
He's like, oh, look at me, I'm Wes. Swoop, whoop, doo.
I'm fancy. I
my
live in
God,
the
this is
Philippines.
great.
I can't-
What an interpretation. I'm just being goofy over here, and you're
you guys
you're
are
personalizing it.
I'm clipping this, that's for sure.
totally busting my chops. So that I want to see Scorpion's Revenge a lot, but I haven't been able to see it yet, Sparrow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, maybe it'll appear on Dockbuster Video. You never know.
He's got tires on there for you. Did you get to watch it yet?
I've not gotten. I didn't know. No, I got to go check it out. Is Andor 2 on there yet? Because man, I'm excited.
Yes.
I
for that.
think it is.
Oh my God, Doc, you are a beautiful man.
He is beautiful. Klishioki says, does HH ever go home? Every once in a while. I think he takes 3 weekends off a year to where he goes back home,
Jeez.
recharges, and then he goes back out on the road onto the con scene and does his thing. But he is a traveling man. When it's con season, he hits it hard. Essentially,
Hardest
every
working
single
man
week.
in comics, man.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And Callum says, I'll send you a link to death scenes, Wes, in your DMs. Well, I'll watch them. And I'm hoping to see the entire movie. That'll be great. Thank you very much. And then Vito's Gaia's Cradle. The best gauge for the state of the comic books is normie bookstores. 5 years ago, they were equal comic trades to manga. Now manga dominates the shelves, and comics are literally stored in the floor under the manga. That's why the compact comics are so important, because they're actually selling in comparison to manga within bookstores. So that's definitely been a change that was definitely noticed in the last 18 months.
Well, when
I mean,
you make it easy to
that's
shop,
right.
you know, it's not like the bookstores. They don't, you know, like they're not going to take the time with the American comics section that say like Yule Wood in his shop. Like I'm going to display
To
things
curate
so
it.
people can see them. Yeah, I'm going to curate it. They're just going to cram it all onto the shelf. And unfortunately, since every publisher decides to do a different size, you know, and even the same publishers, this trade's going to be this size and this trade's going to be this size. You end up with a shelf that's just where you're looking at a bunch of spines that are all haphazard and uneven. And it is an unappealing experience for anybody who is not determined to find something to go and shop that shelf. I will go just to peruse it and see what's there. And after about 5 minutes, I'm sick of it. And I'm excited to look at the comic shelf.
The same publisher can't even keep the spines identical.
Boy, you
With
know we've
volume
gone
1
into
to
it deep
volume
when we talk
5.
about that.
You know, it's the chick from
Personal
marketing.
pet peeve.
Dude,
Totally.
Like,
I mean, looking at my spines, it's horrible.
yeah, it's the
Sitting
chick
there
from
looking-
marketing. She just wants
looking
to
at
go
Destroys the entire collection in the lookability of it.
the
You know
fuck,
what I mean?
my bookshelf. Okay,
Displayability.
even okay. The best example. So Invincible, all 12 volumes of the Ultimate Collection. One of them is randomly and for absolutely no fucking reason, the coloring of the lettering is red instead of yellow. No
Look
reason.
at that shit. Look at that shit.
Then-
no fucking reason for that.
Exactly.
What's that all
And
about? No
It's the chick from
picture.
marketing.
No
And then-
essential.
I have the
Crazy.
first 3 volumes of the Wolverine omnibuses. Every single one,
Are
the
they
spine
five?
is fucking different.
Yeah,
the
the
bottom.
font is different on like all of them. Yeah, I have those Wolverine omnibuses. They changed the font with like each one.
Yeah.
It's infuriating.
And then the ones when the font's the same, they like outline the lettering different. So it's like blue outline then like red. Yeah.
Or they'll make like the volume number at the bottom like slightly smaller or slightly larger for absolutely no fucking
Just move it up half an inch just to drive you
Yes.
fucking insane.
It's
yeah.
from anybody putting this shit on their shelf perspective, it looks gaudy as fuck. No matter what you do, you're like, oh, I'm gonna do this so my bookshelf looks nice and uniform. Fuck you. Marvel's response, fuck you. You're gonna make sure that it looks like shit no matter what. And then you'll wonder why people don't buy it.
Well, isn't that Marvel's response to everything? You know, boy, I'd kind of still like it if Peter Parker and Mary Jane were married. F you. Oh, I'd
Yeah.
still like it if these characters were written consistently with the characterization that they've had for well over 40 years. F you.
Wait. Aaron, you think that they let you get the question out first? Hey, wouldn't it be fuck you? That's their response. You don't even get the question out before they're saying fuck you.
We're breaking
True.
down here. We're dropping F-bombs. People are losing their minds.
Cats
but
and
we do
dogs
need to
living
send
together.
a huge thank you
Necessary.
to the day's sponsor. Unholy Nightmare number 2 is live on Kickstarter. This issue cranks up the carnage with even more monsters, madness, and mayhem. And if you're a collector, buckle up, Buttercup. We've got foil and metal covers that'll melt your short box. Our very own Drew, aka Dolan Waddick, and Aaron Sparrow are back, and they've teamed up with Voodoo for the Golem add-on, a supernatural war story packed with fury, grit, and Nazi splattering vengeance. You're seeing the trailer now, but that's just the surface. In the final 48 hours, we're unleashing count that two, killer covers. Aurelio's raw black and white original and a brutal full-colored battle variant by JC Grande. Don't miss your shot. Scan the code or hit the link in the video description to back Unholy Nightmare number 2 today. The campaign ends tomorrow, July 6th, right here. Join Drew, Aaron, and more for a special live stream at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Thinking Critical YouTube. All right, so Aaron, we will get to you with some details on what's going on tomorrow. Now, you need to step out. Did you have any comic books you wanted to recommend or any videos you wanted to tell people about?
No, I have a comic shop and a YouTube channel. It's all Fantastic Comics. Oh, like my name right there. There's a bunch of Fantastic Four coming out next week. And I do want to tell you about First Steps. This is hilarious. And I didn't even read any of it. They've got a join the Johnny Storm Flamin' Hearts fan club. They got like an article with the Fantastic Four dude from the movie. And I really like the style of that book, but I haven't read it.
Is it all
That's
done
one
like
that they're
in
selling
universe?
in bookstores?
Pardon me, what?
Is that
Which
all
one
in
am I
universe? Like all the ads? Like is it all in?
Oh
universe?
yeah, it's all in the yeah, exactly. Just
so it's like you're buying the comic that exists in the movie universe.
Yeah, exactly. This is like buy more of the stuff of them, and then they got like a coupon to cut out. You know, just great stuff. I like it. Hope the story's good.
Yeah, we shall see. I think you can get that one everywhere. I think it's being mass distributed.
Really?
Very,
All
very
right, cool. Yeah.
No books this week to recommend?
I read Spider-Man. It was all right. It had a good fight scene.
Best issue of Spider-Man in probably over a year.
I've been enjoying Spider-Man actually quite a bit.
I think this is the best one they've done so far. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. It was good. You're meeting this villain for the first time, this sort of villain. And it was a good issue. I liked it. That was probably the best thing I read this week, other than back issues that I'm catching up on. I like JSA. I like Blood Squad 7. And of course, I like West Coast Avengers. R.I.P. There you go. That's Marvel for you.
Well, thank you very much, Jewel. It was great to have you back, and hopefully you come back and give us the retail perspective some more.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. I won't be away so long.
Awesome. How far away are we from Tom Brevoort saying, every time they cancel a title or a title is listed only 5 issues because he's an idiot, and when it should have been listed as an ongoing? How many times, or how long do you think it is before he's like, Marvel's motto is don't be sad that we canceled it, be glad it never happened.
Yeah, well, it's kind of that way. I've had that.
I already said that.
I've had that feeling with comic books. Like I always like the stuff that gets canceled. Maybe it goes 12 issues or 24 issues, and it's like that Sienkiewicz Moon Knight run. It didn't last a whole lot of issues after he left, and then they put out another one, and it was like, why are you putting out another one? You just ended this, and it's kind of like. There's nothing new under the sun as far as comics. It's just a costume change. It's just an event. It's just an earthquake. It's whatever gets people in is what gets people in. It's keeping them, and not ruining it also. I feel like they had all these people that buying Ms. Marvel, the Kamala Khan stuff. And then they forced it into the Secret Wars storyline. And it's like these newbies, we actually had new people coming in and buying comics. They're not ready for this. It's like throwing Watchmen out first for your first superhero book. You don't throw them into an event. You need to coddle these people for 5 to 10 years and just let them keep buying this stupid book. I don't care. You don't force her. Every once in a while you put her in another series, but they didn't stick with it. They ended it. They started it. They ended it. They started it. And it's what's happening. That's Marvel for you right now.
Baby steps.
Yeah. 80 books will come out, though. Don't you worry about that.
Subhuman84, thank you so much for the very generous $50 super chat.
Holy shit!
I
would
don't
have
see
stayed
any
another
comment
5
or anything
minutes.
there, so I'm assuming that you're just supporting the channel, but really appreciate that. Really means a lot, and really, really cool stuff. Really appreciate that. Caleb
You
says,
get yourself a
I
lot
sent
of
them.
hamburgers with eggs on them, Wes, with that kind of money.
Yes.
True.
I don't want to be assaulted by the egg again. That
Go
was
to
rough.
Red Robin. They have that every day.
Bottomless
$50
steak and rice.
hamburgers.
Bottomless.
Probably,
That's because
yeah.
you're going to
So the
eat
Red Robin
$40.
burger.
You're going to eat $40 worth of French fries while you're there, you will, because you got to get your money's worth. You're going to leave hating yourself, but you're going to be like, man, I got over on Red Robin, didn't I?
Thank you very much to Cal for sending those destines. Really appreciated that. Very, very cool stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I'll head
Aaron,
out.
appreciate it, Yul. Aaron, tomorrow you're going to be here on the channel tomorrow evening, not at a normal time, running a live stream for the Unholy Nightmare 2 campaign finale.
Well, not evening for me, because you thankfully reminded me that it was Eastern time and not Pacific time. So it'll be mid-afternoon for me. But yes, I will be hosting the Unholy Nightmare closeout stream. We'll have a lot of guests. It'll be a comic conversation. It'll be a lot like this, but in the afternoon. So for those of you who don't want to wake up early all the time, you want to catch a little thinking critical style commentary. In the afternoon, we'll be doing the closeout stream to get as many people to jump in on Drew's latest book as possible. And I gotta say, the second issue is there's only been 2 issues, but it's my favorite of the 2 so far. It's got a great cliffhanger ending. I've talked about that multiple times. And one of the add-ons is something that I co-wrote with Drew, the Golem add-on, which tells the origin of one of the characters in the book.
And there's an idea, Aaron, that once a month you do an extra live stream and do an extra comic book conversation on a Saturday afternoon. We don't want to overwhelm you or anything. Is that still on the table? Are you still considering it?
Yeah, I would still love to do it. We just have to work out the details, but I'd love to do like a comic book conversations on Saturday afternoon where we bring on some independent guys, talk about their projects, talk about the craft of creating comics, as well as answering viewer questions. So if that's something you guys want to see, let us know, because I'm really seriously considering doing it.
Support the stream tomorrow night. Let us know that's what you want. And there's a good chance that Aaron will be on for a live stream, a bonus live stream every month, once a month, to talk with creators about writing and taking questions. That'll be a lot of fun. But yeah. All right, Sparrow, what else is going on with you? You going to be on World Class Bullshitters, Popeye Culture this week? What's going on?
I don't know till they tell me. Like, they got to reach out and say, hey, you're going to be there Tuesday? Because everybody's kind of, I don't know, it's the summertime. Everybody seems to be having a good time and canceling streams and going out and doing things in the real world. So I don't know. I don't know where I'll be this week, but
You'll be somewhere.
I'll be somewhere. I mean, I've got a lot of other stuff going on this month. I'm pretty open. That's why I've told people, hey, if you want me to write something or you want me to edit something, now's the time to hit me up, because my schedule's, aside from just wrapping up Doomface stuff as letters come in, I've sent off my notes on the lettering, so should have a final draft of everything soon. And then once we do that, we'll be moving into backer kit, and everybody will be able to choose their the different bonuses and things that they want, add on anything that they want, and then we'll be off to print. So super excited about that. If you guys haven't yet, please go check out the Kneel Before Doomface campaign and back it if you haven't, because it is going to be fantastic. At least, you know what? Do this for me. If you haven't backed it, at least go over and look at the page and check out the updates. And you'll see there's a lot of things in the updates. We're showing off some of the pages and some of the humor that you'll get in there, some of the action. So, let us know what you think.
If you're interested in hiring or procuring the services of one Aaron Sparrow on your comic book, now is the time to reach out to him. These things tend to build up, Aaron.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And I tend to book up quick when I have openings. So,
You got any comic books you want to recommend this week?
No, I have not checked out anything this week. It's been been 2 weeks now since I've been to the comic book shop. So I don't have anything to recommend. I don't even know what's out this week, unfortunately.
A nerd says, if y'all could only read knockoff characters comics, what one would you avoid? Biker Mice from Mars.
Ooh,
I would definitely avoid that one.
Well, considering I love Street Sharks, but considering the creative team that they put on that, well, I should just say considering the writer that they hired for that, I would avoid that one.
Yes.
Although is Thundercat still going at Dynamite?
Yes.
I would avoid that one.
Thundercats is a knockoff?
Of real Thundercats, yes.
What's a knockoff that you don't like, Dylan? What's the worst knockoff Superman?
Worst knockoff Superman? There's a lot of bad knockoff Superman. Supergirl.
Supergirl. That's the one to avoid. Sophie Campbell.
Yeah, that's what I'll go with. Say avoid Supergirl.
What about you, Doc? You got a knockoff team or character that you say that's the worst version?
Betsy Braddock, Captain Britain.
Ooh, that's a good one.
She's
Very
both
nice.
a knockoff of Betsy Braddock and a knockoff of Captain Britain. So I get a 2-for-1 of fucking terrible.
And a knockoff of Captain America.
Yeah.
Very nice. Sully, you're normally the nice one. Are you going to avoid one of these knockoff characters?
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Watchmen, just because everyone loves the
Wow,
Watchmen.
you want to be that guy?
I want to be that guy. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Screw
Yeah,
that.
I thought. See,
Screw
Sully, I
that
thought you were
owl.
going to. I thought you were. I want you to avoid Jim the Earth Orca.
I thought he was going Squadron Supreme, but
Jeff the
apparently not.
Land Shark. Yeah.
No, you should go read that original Grunwald Squadron Supreme. That's good stuff.
Very nice. So, Dylan, you've got your Captain America 1 review. You're about to do Superman. People should be waiting for your Superman movie review this week as well.
Yes, on Tuesday I will be dropping my Superman movie review, so on the 9th. So pretty soon I'll have that up because I'm seeing it on the 8th. I took the 9th off just so I could stay up all night on the 8th and work on my review, and then the review will be out on the 9th. So ready
Very,
for
very
that.
cool stuff. You got any comics you want to recommend as well?
I have 3 comics. This is a very weak, not a good week for comics. This is very weak. I'll go with G.I. Joe Real American Hero number 318, Godzilla vs. Thor number 1, and JSA number 9. Be my 3 recommendations, but not a great week. But those are good comics, I'd say.
Very nice. Sully, you got any comic books you want to recommend or any videos coming up?
I got plenty of videos coming all week. If you like hockey, if you like cooking, if you like spirituality, I'm your guy. I am your evangelist of comics. I got 3 comic books this week from my local comic book shop. I got Resurrection Man, Quantum Karma number 4, and I got the variant cover just because I could. And this is my cup of tea. It's a really good book. This would be the wrong issue just to jump in on it. We suggest, start at issue 1, please, and hope you enjoy the ride. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, number 318. Fabulous
Great
book,
cover.
great art, great cover. I missed out on a variant cover this week because I went on Thursday, to be honest, and there was only 1 copy left on the shelf. And this is on my poll, so I don't have to worry about it. But they usually have variant covers at my store, so I'll get them if they're there, just because I can. It's great to have that. And my pick of the week, and I read this as a review copy, and I'm proud to go back and spend some money on it. Seriously, support the title, support my store. And this is Godzilla vs. Thor by Jason Aaron and Aaron Cooter's art. This is a fun book. This is like wall-to-wall action. It's standalone. It's the best of these versus Godzilla books coming out from Marvel right now. A couple of them have been complete clunkers, especially that Spider-Man one. But this is just, it's fun, and this is a superhero comic book. So check this out. This is a recommendation from me to you. And it's a light week this week. So it's shout out to Amazing Spider-Man number 7 this week. I just love, even when he's mediocre, I love John Romita Jr.'s art. And it wasn't the best John Romita Jr. art, but still, I mean, the way he draws breaking glass and webbing and his 6-panel pages, it's all about pacing. It's all about like the camera work. It's very cinematography. It's like cinematography with him. And I love his storytelling, and it elevates this kind of mediocre story. And I'm having fun with the past couple of issues of Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Dylan,
I have a
people were
question.
asking, is your Superman review going to be a spoiler review or a non-spoiler review?
It's going to be non-spoiler, and then I will break it to the spoiler. So I'll do like non-spoiler for like the first half of the video, give a warning, also have timestamp,
2 in
and
1.
then go spoilers. That's the plan. That's what I generally do.
Sorry,
for
Aaron,
these.
you were saying something?
Yeah, I have a question for Sully on Godzilla versus Thor. Is there at least a reference to the Midgard serpent or Fafnir?
No, I don't know. Because
I don't know. Seems like if Thor's fighting a big green lizard, he should probably at least reference one of those.
Well, he's not
Maybe
green.
even
So.
Foom. Godzilla's not green?
No.
What is he, like
More
gray?
gray.
Yeah, he's like gray, black,
Then
very
he gets
dark.
an
and
upgrade.
nice.
Okay, still
Yeah.
big reptile. There should be a reference to one of those characters.
All right.
Look at this splash page. Look, behold the art.
Yeah.
Look at that action. He's just coming in with Mjolnir. He's gonna take a piece of Godzilla out.
Say Mjolnir.
Mjolnir. Meow meow.
Mjolnir.
When are we
All right,
getting?
Doc,
Well,
any
man.
books to recommend? These guys are getting out of hand.
Who? Me.
Doc, you last.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on. Well, Yule left, but because I was gonna, I know how much he loves the slabs, so we're gonna recommend X-Men #2. I've recommended #1 before, but first appearance of the Vanisher, who is a fun character. I especially loved him during the Craig Kyle Chris Yost X-Force, pre-Uncanny X-Force with Remender. It was a good series. Vanisher played an interesting role in it, and I enjoy the character. He's one that it took a long time for them to figure out what he does, what he's really there for, and when they did, it was actually good. So, I think this is what's mine, a 5.0? Yeah, 5.0. So see if you can find one better than that. It's not that hard. Then we will go with, I love these 90s gimmicks covers.
Yeah, that's a great cover.
A Wolverine #50. First appearance of Shiva, the fucking robot thing, but doesn't really matter.
Was that also the last appearance of Shiva?
No, they've used him a bunch of times, and they always had the Shiva protocols, and it had something to do with the Weapon X project. It's, this is back during the, nobody knows exactly what Wolverine's origin is, pre-origin, back when it was still fun to give a shit about Wolverine's origin, and it's not just tedious nonsense. But this die cut cover, I love this. You could find it in a dollar bin somewhere, but go for it. It's a fun comic. And you should also pick up the couple issues preceding this, because this is actually part 3 of a series or of a story. Then we will go with, I know that I think I recommended this last week, but I'm going to recommend it again. This Spider-Man and Wolverine miniseries is actually, you know what? I read the first issue and then I reread it when I was reading the second issue. I appreciated the first issue a lot more after reading the second issue. And it's good. The art is amazing. The story's not bad. The plot's a little, it's different for a Wolverine and Spider-Man team-up book. And this issue, as the cover indicates, they are definitely not teaming up. So go check this book out. It's just 22 pages of Wolverine versus Spider-Man. And then finally, we will go with, since Pride Month's over, I will recommend two gay characters. First appearance of Midnighter and Apollo in Stormwatch Volume 2, number 4. Warren Ellis, Brian Hitch, amazing art, amazing story. Definitely great. It's kind of the start of what eventually becomes the Authority in another 11 issues and a Wildcats Aliens crossover.
Oh, yeah.
See, normally I hate those intercompany crossovers because they can never matter. That's why, everybody's recommending, the Avengers versus Godzilla and Spider-Man Predator or whatever the crossover du jour is between franchises, none of them will ever fucking matter as much as Wildcats Aliens did.
Oof.
Because it leads directly into the Authority by having the most impact on Stormwatch. So, but first appearance of Apollo and the Midnighter, great characters, great story. And it's back when they didn't just beat you over the head with the fact that, two characters happen to be gay. In fact, you don't even find out for like another 20 issues. So those are my recommendations for this week. And yeah.
Very good. Carlitos Figueroa, check out Superman Man of Tomorrow by Robert Venditti and Paul Peltier for enjoyable one and done stories. Great for passing the time.
Yeah.
I liked Venditti's little short run on Superman. It was cool.
Yeah, I agree. What he did with it was cool. And he did that like little Walmart book. Yeah.
Which one is this? Is this one from his actual Superman run or his Walmart Giant that he did?
I think this is from the Walmart Giant. I think. I could be mistaken, but I think this is from the Walmart Giant.
So the Walmart Giant also had one of the better Tom King things he's ever run, right?
Yes, that was really good. That's like the last thing from Tom King I actually enjoyed was his Superman book.
Maybe they should have put Tom King on Superman and Brian Bendis on Batman, and then neither of those books would have sucked as bad.
Maybe because Bendis' Batman book was good.
Yeah.
That was the only good thing he did in DC.
Bendis fits on Batman. He doesn't fit on Superman.
This was the DC Digital first. I remember this now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Definitely check that out. I remember that will be really good. I love Robert Venditti. It sucks that he gets no play anymore, but he definitely should. Yeah, there's so many bad writers getting multiple opportunities when Robert Venditti deserves a place at the table.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody is enjoying their 4th of July weekend. I want to say thank you very much, not only to the panel, but certainly to the audience and everybody for supporting the channel, having a good time with us. Always have the best chat in all of comic book live streams. And we'll be back here to our next weekend for Comics Aficionados. But definitely don't miss out tomorrow evening at a special time. Aaron Sparrow, Drew, and the final closeout of the Unholy Nightmare 2 campaign. Going to be right here on the channel.
Go America.
Everybody